Hey, I'm ofmyseat here, back again with another brand new video. So today I will be no damaging all of Metal Gear Solid Integral. Now, what is Metal Gear Solid Integral? Well, it's pretty much a special version of like the first game, which has a few extra goodies like the VR missions and a mode which you can like pretty much enter first person and actually move around and do stuff. So that's pretty cool. Also, it is the version which is on the GOG storefront on PC. So yeah, I am playing this on PC, though I am still using a gamepad. And did I say all of the game? Because it's more like I'm gonna no damage a majority of the game, because there's like one or two sections where I do take damage, and I'll explain why when I get there. So anyways, my strategy here is kind of, crawl through that one place, wait for the guard to show up, hide behind that wall, and then once the guard like kind of looks away from me, I go towards them, I kind of throw them, and I don't want to kill him. Like, you could kill that guard, but I really don't want to. So instead, I throw him to kind of distract him for a bit, so I can kind of run away from him to get some distance from him. So like, I don't know, throwing enemies can like pretty much leave them incapacitated enough to the point that you can run away from them and they don't really follow you. So like, I mean, they'll be like, "Huh, what was that?" but they won't actually see you. So that's cool. And then once we get to this part, like, I don't know, I was kind of lucky here, but kind of the main thing is kind of hide behind this thing. However, sometimes you need to keep a lookout for guards, because sometimes there'll be a guard approaching you from like the bottom of the screen. So if he approaches you there, you gotta hide behind the cart here. But if the guard approaches from the right, then you need to hide where I am right now. So here I'm just using the first person feature, and also, kind of putting my back against walls to kind of keep an eye on the enemies, because I'm also playing this on extreme, the hardest difficulty, which turns your radar off. And on a Metal Gear Solid Stealth feels very dependent on the radar, but you can kind of get by using first person mode, and also a lot of trial and error, which is what I'm doing here. Yep. Like, I mean, first time playthroughs, I definitely recommend playing on normal, because that's pretty much like the highest difficulty, which allows you to still have your radar, while on hard and extreme, it just takes it away. So yeah, this section is just a waiting game. So like, I mean, pretty much just I start the area off, knock that one guard off, and then I pretty much hide out here, and then I run over here. However, to get past this area without any alarms, I don't really know how to do that. So yeah, my big boss run is now ruined. I'm assuming that to get a big boss run, you need to get 0 alarms, and I get alarms in this playthrough, though. Unlike Metal Gear Solid 2, I mean, like, okay, if you're trying to go for the big boss run, like, getting no alarms is really important. But if you're just playing the game normally, or just trying to do no damage, or at least a majority of no damage for a majority of the game, then it doesn't really matter much, because, okay, so like, let me explain like this. So,
Surveillance camera?
well, I mean, I start this area off by going here to the surveillance camera room, because there's an item here we need to get. I actually forget what. I'm assuming it's chaff or stun grenades. I don't know, let's see, but I guess I'll keep explaining. So getting alarms in Metal Gear Solid 1 doesn't really matter much, because you can kind of enter the next room and it all goes away. So I can kind of just, just kind of play like that. While in Metal Gear Solid 2, they added this thing where, if you have an alarm and you try to enter the next room, the alarm will actually follow you into that next room. And what that means is that the enemies in that next room will know where you are, and they'll ambush you. And then there'll be guards from the previous room which will enter, like, the room you just entered, and they'll enter there and they'll try to kill you. And I can't deal with that for a no damage attempt. Like, it's kind of hard, it's weird. And oh yeah, the strategy here. So I kind of use first person mode to like know whether the guard was around or not. And we're pretty much going to enter through here, because if you don't enter through here, you're going to have to crawl through like a lot of vents. And also you're going to start off, well, to be fair, you still do a lot of crawling here, but not as much as the crawling you have to do if you go from like the top. Like, this place has multiple entrances. I'm assuming those multiple entrances are 2. Pretty much a vent you can enter from the top, and a vent you can enter from the bottom. But with this bottom vent, not only do you get to see some cool mice, I'm assuming it's also shorter. So that's cool. And also you start on ground level. So if you don't want to pick up any items, you can kind of just, not pick up items. To be fair, I actually forget if I pick up any items on like the top floor from this part. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, in Metal Gear Solid 2, like, I mean, like, this is a segmented run. So like, it's not a full, like, one go type of thing. I do it in parts. And the thing is that getting alarms in Metal Gear Solid 2, if I like, you know, if I get an alarm in one room and then run into the next room, but still have that alarm, I can't deal with that. However, if you press continue after you die in that next room, that room will be normal. But that really wouldn't be like a fair way to do a segmented run, because that pretty much be cheating, right? While in Metal Gear Solid 1, the game just works like that, so it's not cheating. So anyways, here we wait for this guard to pass by, and we're gonna run all the way up here. And then we watch for if there's any guard over there. And I'm wondering if I go to the elevator. I guess I'm going to go to the stairs. So yeah, once that guard kind of goes there, you go here. And now stop there. Look where the camera is. And if the camera's there, you can kind of run up there. And if the camera's facing that way, you can still kind of run up there if you do like a shorter path to here. And now, oh, okay, so I made a mistake earlier in this video. It's when I'm in the big snow field, like, I don't know, with like the helicopter spotlights and all that. I forgot to pick up a certain item, and this is gonna screw me over to the point where I actually am forced to take damage. So here, I forgot to pick up the SOCOM pistol in the truck in the snowfield. What that means is that the SOCOM pistol spawns here now. However, the item which you should be getting here, if you got the SOCOM pistol before, is the thermal goggles. And you're going to need the thermal goggles to get past like the laser stuff in this very room without taking damage, because I now can't get the thermal goggles. Unless I maybe backtrack all the way to like the beginning of the snowfield, but that's not happening, and I didn't even know this would be an issue, so we're just kind of stuck here. Now I'm going to have to use my cigarette to get past those lasers, and taking, you know, smoking damages you, so it's like, bruh, come on, man. Like, that was my fault. So here I'm just kind of using first person mode to see where the enemies are, and now we're just gonna head back to the elevator. At the very least, I do have my gun, because we will be needing the gun for these future sections. In fact, I wonder what would happen if I didn't have a SOCOM pistol by the time I get to like the action set piece, to get to the game's first action set piece. I actually wonder, I mean, would they spawn it like right in the room where like the Darpa chief is? Like, that's kind of weird. So anyways, here there's no real big threat to this room. Just kind of go into a vent. I mean, watch some cutscenes, because like this game is a very heavy cutscene game. However, when you skip all the cutscenes, it's a rather short game. I don't know, I mean, I beat it in 2 hours. So thankfully, I mean, I like short games. At the very least, I like, you know, commentating on short games, because I mean, even commentating for 2 hours is very like hard and stressful and all that. Like, oh man. So like a game longer than that, that's gonna be immensely difficult. Alright, so one important thing about the PC GOG version of the game is that you can use a PS4 controller, and you can use it pretty simply. Like, you just kind of use the Bluetooth like connectivity, if your computer like supports it or whatever, and boom, you can connect to your PS4 controller. However, there's one issue with the way GOG assigns like button like configurations, and that issue is that it assigns movement to either only the D-pad or only like your joystick, so you can't do both. So like, I mean, if you're playing this game normally on the PS1, or I'll stop talking about that, oh, this action set piece. So anyways, you start off, you shoot the guy on the right, and then you put him into a chokehold. You wait for these two guards to like shoot him twice. Like, I mean, you know, one guard shoots him and the other guard shoots him, that counts as twice. And once you do that, you just kind of, you pretty much let go of the guard you're like holding up, because if you shoot him 3 times, it's going to damage you. Like, I don't know, that means the 3rd time that guard which you're holding up is shot, that will be like the thing that damages you. However, when you're letting him go, equip or like unequip your weapon to pretty much equip your weapon, because that will pretty much cancel out the animation of you dropping the guard to the ground, and that'll pretty much make it faster. So anyways, here, like, I mean, in this game you can like equip and unequip things very quickly with like the R1 button, pretty much at the right bumper or whatever. And now here I'm just kind of winging it. I'm shooting up these guards so that they don't have a chance to shoot me, and also running around here, because I don't know, one thing you do is you can kind of run around until a guard shoots, and then once they shoot, that's your chance to fire. Now here I make a bit of a mistake, though, to be fair, it's not that much of a mistake because like it worked out for me, but you can actually like run and shoot at the same time. However, I don't do that here, and to be fair, you don't really need to, though I'm sure it probably would have made things easier. Though, to be fair, with the SOCOM pistol, like, that's a little hard to do. I mean, with like some of your later weapons, running and shooting is like pretty much needed, but here not so much. But yeah, and also once like the last group of guards comes in with the grenades, just kind of stand, you know, near the door so that the grenades don't hit you. And then once those guards come in, just kind of stand in the middle of the room or diagonal to the room and just try to shoot all of them up at the same time. I kind of fail, but then like Meryl picks up the slack for me. So then after that, we're just gonna go down to B2 here. But yeah. So like the hardest part of like that combat encounter is the very beginning, because you're on your own. Like after you defeat like the first 3 enemies, Meryl will help you actually shoot some of those enemies. And like I don't know, some of the strategies I saw from other YouTubers, like you can actually just kind of punch the guards a bit and Meryl will take care of them for you. I mean, it still requires a bit of skill, a bit of dedication and all that, because you know, like guards can like do melee attacks if you're too close to them and they shoot you. You know, it's like it's a very tough, challenging encounter to no damage. Though not impossible, and there are some encounters later in the game which are worse, but yeah, those first 3 guards, very, very painful. So like, I mean, once those 3 guards are out of the way, Meryl can kind of help you, though you still need to pick up the slack quite a bit. So, you know, just stay aggressive, you know, stay on guard, and also just stay mobile as well. And oh yeah, so I mentioned that I saw some YouTubers. So yeah, with these kind of videos, I tend to like watch other people's videos to see what kind of strategies they have, and that's how I pretty much did this strategy. So Ocelot, you would shoot him normally. However, if you have grenades and if you throw these grenades in a very particular way, you can actually just kind of keep throwing him at them, and boom, he's gonna die with 3 grenades, and it's gonna be a very short, no damage Ocelot fight. However, that's very difficult. Like I don't know, moving the D-pad in such a way. I mean, I use the D-pad. Actually, I forget if I moved I forget if I actually moved this to the joystick or the D-pad, but whichever way, it's extremely difficult to kind of move Snake in such a way where like he doesn't trip the wires, or he throws the grenade far enough that it doesn't blow up any of the wires, or like Baker over here, and also still damages Ocelot. And also moving Snake in such a way where it manipulates Ocelot to stay in one corner, that was immensely difficult. I mean, that looked super easy, but it is so much harder than it looks. Though with some practice you should be able to do it, but it's like, oh my goodness. So there's 3 main YouTubers which I watched and kind of adapted their strategies for my video, and those 3 YouTubers are Gerald the Great. Now Gerald the Great, he has this whole playlist of like no damaging all of Metal Gear Solid 1, and he has actually no damaged the entire game until the very ending, which is better than me. But like yeah, I mean, a very valiant, very like strong attempt, and his strategies are pretty normal. And I say that because like some of the other YouTubers I watched can have like some like insane speedrun strategies. I mean, I just copied one of them. So anyways, once you enter this room, I just kind of watch out for guards, I guess. There might be a guard there, and you just kind of throw them, go to the elevator, bada boom, bada boom. I don't know if there's any other complications to this room. I was kind of talking about something else while looking at this room. And yeah, you have to call Meryl at this point, and it's good to call her in this elevator, because once you like exit this elevator, boom, she'll open the bay doors for you. The cargo bay doors, and that just it kind of speeds things up. Like if you call her here, it might take a while and you'll be wasting a lot of time in this room. No time for that. So yeah, here, boom, we open the bay doors, and I believe I'm gonna go upstairs to try to get the thermal goggles. However, you remember that room which had the SOCOM pistol? Well, its doors were open. Actually, I don't think I go up there to get them, because I'm pretty sure I know it's a useless thing to do. Or do I? Let's see. Yeah, I think I might have done it in a previous attempt and I just knew it was useless, because something which happens with those doors that they actually close when you return here. And the doors are level 4 and you do not have a level 4 key card. So pretty much like the time when I went to go get the SOCOM pistol was the only time you could have gone to enter that room. And if you had the SOCOM pistol before, you could have gotten thermal goggles, and now I'm using the cigarettes, and there I'm taking damage. Oh, it's so sad to see. But like these lasers, there's no way like to predict them without knowing where they are. So it's just like, unless there is, but like it'd be difficult. And it's like, I really should have routed my run better, but oh well. Here we are. Now the second YouTuber is the Jaguar King, who I saw his video where he no damaged all the boss fights. And he like adopts these like kind of super speedrun strategies, and sometimes he does things which I don't even know like what the hell he did. But yeah, here we reach the gunner fight, and I hate this fight because it's like straight up kind of random. So anyways, here throw a chafe grenade, then run to the left, just kind of stay to the left, and you should be good, because there's going to be a pillar we're going to hide behind on the left. And also it should help you avoid any mines on the field, because like this field is mined, I believe so. So anyways, here we're just going to hide out here and wait for this tank to get into a position where we can kind of get the jump on it. But getting the jump on it is just hard, because you have to like throw grenades. Throwing the grenades is weird. The way this tank moves, like sometimes if I do that thing I just did right now, the tank will like run over me. It's just like, it's kind of random. It's like, Here I'm just kind of throwing a bunch of grenades to get lucky, but it doesn't work, because this guard kind of has invincibility for a little bit. But thankfully I got lucky enough that I was able to just kind of boom. I guess that worked. And does that kill him? Yeah, that kills him. So yeah, like that's just mostly luck. Like, man, what a shame. What a shame. So yeah, here, so this room, like, I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out a strategy, but once you have a strategy, it's pretty easy room. So here, just kind of, oh. Also, you can't use weapons, though, to be fair. Using weapons isn't exactly the best way to go about things, though, to be fair. Once you have a silenced pistol, that becomes super useful. So just kind of taking enemies out from afar without having to choke them out. Because, you know, sometimes enemies will be in a very weird spot where if you're, like, choking them out, another enemy will see you. So anyways, just take the path I took, and then just kind of wait by the stairs here. Wait for this guy to turn around. And then we can just kind of slowly just kind of walk behind him to get to the elevator. Very nice. But yeah, Jaguar Queen has some really great strategies for the boss fights. Some of them possible to do, others I have zero idea how he did them, but you know, that helped me a ton on this video. And then for the third YouTube, this is a Stars Redfield, who has pretty much more of like a video in my style, though he doesn't have any commentary. It was just like a super long video. So anyways, here we're gonna stick to the left of this room because there's gonna be a guard patrolling on the right, and the guard kind of just sticks to the right, I'm assuming. And the guard kind of has these weird patterns. He just kind of walks up and down, like he goes there. So like here, I believe I'm trying to get the Nikita launcher. And here we're gonna wait on this room for this guard to pass me by, and then I'm gonna run past him. Yeah, there we go. Because I don't know, if you go on the right, that can kind of complicate things. And I was talking about Chris Redfield, so let me get back to that video. So yeah, no, not Chris Redfield, the Stars Redfield. I mean, Stars is like the Resident Evil like organization and whatever. So yeah, once we get the Nikita launcher, we're gonna go down. But anyways, back to Stars Redfield's like video where he says he tried to no damage Metal Gear Solid 1, and I don't know, tried is very liberal because I'm pretty sure he does the whole game, though he kind of fails at the end. But everyone fails at like the final part, so you know, no biggie there. But yeah, I don't know, his video, I say it's kind of a mix of like, I don't know, Jaguar and wait, let me look it up again. I don't know, I mean, I outlined this, so let me just go back to that. So this is the part where you have to like knock out an electric part with a missile. It's not too hard, just kind of, once you know the path, just kind of shoot it. I mean, I guess the video is pretty self-explanatory. Though, I don't know, controlling the missile can be a bit hard because, you know, it can go really fast, so if you don't know the exact path, it can kind of screw you over. And also, you got to keep the missile going fast here, because if you keep it slow, these little turret things can actually shoot it out. So yeah, but I don't know, one way to kind of slow it down is to kind of move it a bit. It'll slow down for a bit, so once you have it on the right trajectory, just kind of let it go, but, you know, kind of move it a bit at parts where you need to do like quick turns or whatever, yada yada. But yeah, so Stars Redfield's video is kind of a mix between like Garland the Great and Jaguar King strategies, in that, I don't know, I wouldn't say they're like as speedrunny as Jaguar King, though they're not exactly as down to earth as like Garland the Great, though. That's not to say Stars Redfield does not do anything speedrunning, because oh my goodness, some of the things he does are absolutely insane. There is one like action set piece in the game which is like just utterly like insane how he does it. It's like the, I don't know, the way you would have to manipulate your thumbs to do all that. Ow! I'll talk about that moment when I get to that moment, because it is a very, very painful moment, and I don't like it. So anyways, here, there's going to be a lot of gun turrets. There's one in that room. That room is actually where we're supposed to go. However, I'm going to go to the left to collect some more items. And also, I'm going to go back, because I just got the gas mask, and I'm also running out of air, so might as well get some more air there. So yeah, here, this room, you don't actually take damage until you run out of air. So, you know, that's very cool, very nice. So yeah, just kind of, now I'm going to equip the gas mask, and we're just going to go from there. And I was talking about another thing, so, but yeah, I don't know, before I talk about that other thing, so yeah, I'm going to use a chafe grenade there to kind of run through the area, and I just activated first person mode, so I'm kind of walking through it. And the cool thing is that when you have a mask, like, the mask will actually, like, affect your vision and stuff. So I mean, like, I don't know, when you're just viewing it in first person, it's kind of like a nice subtle detail. However, I don't know, when you're in first person actually moving around, it's like you're in there, bro. You're really there. Like, damn, that's cool. However, the first person mode isn't that good. So yeah, I ran all the way here, and it's just more chafe grenades. So like, whatever, I wasted a lot of chafe grenades to get more chafe grenades, but at the very least, the extra chafe grenades allow me to actually exit this area without taking damage, because if I ran out of chafe grenades and I got all the way there, I would not have been able to leave without getting shot. I mean, maybe there's a way to do it without getting shot, because on some of these areas with these like gun turrets, there's ways to like avoid the gun turret's fire without, you know, using chafe grenades, and sometimes I know those ways, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I was going to mention something. So anyways, here we're about to like enter our next boss fight, but yeah, I don't know, the 3 YouTubers, gotta shout them out: Garland the Great, Jaguar King, and Stars Redfield. And there is a 4th one who's like more of a speedrunner than YouTuber or whatever, but I'm gonna mention him at the very, very end because it's a very like specific thing he helped me with. But yeah, so yeah, I want to get back to what I was talking about with the D-pad and the control stick, because like on the PS1 and like on the PS3 port of Metal Gear Solid 1, you can actually play with both, and it's, I mean, that's normal because, you know, I mean, like PlayStation 1, most controllers only had a D-pad, so most games are designed for the D-pad. But then there was like a new version of the controller which had like control sticks, so it's like, cool, maybe we could use those too, right? And yeah, you could. So anyways, here. But yeah, on PC, like I guess unless you like do some modding or whatever, you can only either have the D-pad working for movement or the control stick. You can't have both. So it's like, bro, come on. So here, like, attack Gray Fox very quickly with a sword, and he won't attack you. However, once he goes into his hand-to-hand phase, things get very complicated. Now here, I'm gonna try to drag him over here because he's gonna do a quick hop there and gotta hit him there. So once he does that, he's gonna do a flip. Follow him when he flips and then attack him. Follow him when he flips. However, like every like 1 or 2 times, like he does a flip, he's gonna do like on his 3rd time, like most of the time, he's gonna do a jumping attack. So like, you know, walk away from when he does the jumping attack, and when he does the jumping attack, he's gonna do another like flip, and follow him when he does the flip and immediately attack him. Because if you don't do this, like the thing with this ninja fight is that it would be like super cool if he didn't have one very specific attack, and that one very specific attack is like this like cartwheel like flippy kick he does towards you, because he covers so much space that you can't really dodge it. You have to pretty much route the fight in a way where you avoid any situation where like that kick is involved in order to take no damage. It's so annoying. So anyways, here, once he goes into invisible mode here, I'm gonna hide out here because I don't know, most of the time, like 80% of the time, he's gonna go down the middle, and when he goes down the middle, that pretty much gives him a very predictable path where I can just like pretty much ambush him before he does anything. However, sometimes he'll spawn in a place where I can't really react to him because he'll go from the right. And when he goes from the right, he'll do that spinning like kick thing, which I don't want to pretty much do. So I'm gonna kind of even the playing field here by using chafe grenades. Now, what the chafe grenades do is that they kind of stop Gray Fox in place for a bit. However, you have to know where he is in order to use it effectively because... Oh, yeah. This is another strategy, but I'll get to that after I'm done explaining the chafe grenade. So, you have to know where Gray Fox is. Well, yes, that's who he is. I mean, if you're watching a video about Metal Gear Solid, I'm assuming you know the twist. And to be fair, it's revealed to you right after you beat this guy, so it's pretty early in the game. But yeah, the way you use chafe grenades is that it'll stop him for a little bit, go attack him for a 3-hit combo, and then you can't attack him anymore. However, if you're too slow in attacking him, he'll just be invincible, and then that'll just be a huge waste of time. So yeah, and here I'm hiding out in this place because, I don't know, once I run out of chafe grenades and I can't rely on like my chafe grenade strategy, though to be fair, that doesn't happen in this attempt. The great thing about like the area which I'm standing in is that he'll always come from the right, but he won't really attack me or go that aggro. Like I can kind of ambush him before he can like go into attack mode if I just stand in that little like doorway thing. Because like, he goes like kind of from the bottom up, like kind of from here to run to like a little opening where I am. So most of the time I can kind of just ambush him here. So now once we enter this phase, it's gonna get very easy because all you have to do is kind of run at him, wait for him to teleport a few times to kind of, you know, do his punchy attack, and then boom, attack him. Now the only hard part about this thing is that it could be a little inconsistent or random if he like teleports 2 times or 3 times, and it can kind of throw you off if you're like depending on that second hit to like be a punch, and if it's not a punch, then the third hit's gonna like, if the third teleportation is gonna like screw you over. So instead of waiting on that, just kind of run around and keep a good distance from him, but still activate like his teleportation, and then like keep a good distance from him all the time when he teleports, and then when he kicks, you'll have enough time to kind of close the distance and attack him. So yeah, this is Metal Gear Solid 1 melee combat. So it can be a bit annoying, it's a bit archaic, and it's like and like, I mean, with some later boss fights, like the smaller areas can be a little bit So here, one time I actually no damage this fight, and then this thing one-shot killed me, and I was so mad. So anyways, here, my only strategy is that he'll teleport in that area, so like stay away from that area. He'll teleport in the middle there, so stay away from that area. And yeah, you have to actually use weapons now. So this fight is a fist fight, because if you use any weapons, he'll pull out your blade, and then he'll do this really deadly move where he just like pretty much slices you open. It's like, oh my goodness. However, if you stick to hand-to-hand combat, he'll only do the flipping kicks, and the flipping kicks is very painful for no damage, but at the very least it doesn't one-hit kill you for like a normal run. So yeah, once we do that, we met up with our boy Otacon, who's like a great character and all that. Meryl. Love my boy Otacon. And from here we have to go find Meryl by pretty much seeing the way she shakes her butt, which is like, all right, very funny, Metal Gear Solid, very funny. And hey, I mean, it's a cool little like mix-up of objectives, I guess, but like, okay, all right. But yeah, so I mean, I was mentioning a lot of stuff about D-pads and control sticks, and I do prefer playing Metal Gear Solid 1 on a D-pad. There's very rare situations where I would actually prefer the control stick over the D-pad. One of the reasons like I'm a little more favorable towards the D-pad with this game is that my controller has some drift. Like, man, it's like my, I don't know, my red PS4 controller. It's such a beloved controller, but it's like it's drifting. It's like, I'm mad about that. But beyond that, it's just that this game, just like the way it's like designed, the kind of grid structure, like it just feels way more suited to a D-pad. And also, like the specific like positions you have to kind of take when like attacking people in melee combat. Like, I mean, if an enemy's like right to your like right, you have to like go directly like right at him. But if you go with like the control stick, there's kind of like a little bit of leeway. You'll kind of go like right left, right up, right down. It's harder to be specific with a control stick, and in this game, specificity with like your positioning is like kind of important when it comes to melee combat, because if you're not specific with the way you're positioned, then some of your hits can actually miss the enemy, and then when the enemy goes into invincible mode, your kick will like actually miss them, and they might actually counterattack. Some later melee boss fights. So here the guard on the left is Meryl, and you can kind of figure it out by the way she walks, but I just know it's on the left. And also, to be fair, I was actually trying to like check if that was Meryl because I didn't know, but it's pretty easy. So yeah, just make the guard on the left see you, and then the guard will run to the women's bathroom. You just go there for a very big cutscene with cool music, and it's like awesome, very nice.
Don't move. Okay, let's go.
You know, I was thinking about it. And like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 is praised for its cutscenes, and yeah, certain aspects of them are kind of dated. I mean, the models, like the way they just kind of bob their heads and don't lip sync, you know what I mean? It's dated, but I was kind of thinking about like the way these models are positioned and the way they're kind of like storyboarded in some sense. I mean, like, maybe storyboard isn't the right word, but I don't know, like the way they're framed, like the shot composition and all that, or like the way that the models are kind of animated at that point, or the way the camera is used. I was kind of thinking, this is kind of like the way the Yakuza cutscenes are kind of like storyboarded and composed. Like, I mean, like the way not like the high budget cutscenes in Yakuza, but like the low budget cutscenes, like the one with text boxes. Like, I don't know, in Yakuza 0, play that, and like there's like certain cutscenes which are just like text box cutscenes. And those like give me like Metal Gear Solid 1 vibes, like the way the characters are animated and move and all that. I was kind of thinking like, man, how long has it been since this game has come out? What, 1970? What, this came out in like the 1998, 97? Yeah, I thought it was like 1998 because like 1998 kind of had like the big three when it comes to 3D stealth games, where it was like Tenchu, Thief the Dark Project, and Metal Gear Solid. And I see a bird in front of me, bro. Like, oh my goodness. Like, out of the big 3D stealth games, I've only played two. I've played Thief the Dark Project and, well, Metal Gear Solid, as you can see in this video. And so I actually played kind of the re-release of Thief the Dark Project, Thief Gold, though I didn't beat it. I played like 85% of it, and then I got to like a certain level and I got stuck on it, and I haven't returned to it since, though I really do want to, because I did go and beat Thief 2, Thief Deadly Shadows, and then the reboot. And yeah. So those games, it's been so long since I played Thief, so it's kind of hard for me to itemize like things to say about them. But yeah, they're great. The first three are fantastic, and the reboot's very like, if you're gonna play the reboot, I just recommend playing Dishonored. So anyways, here's the Psycho Mantis fight, and oh my goodness, everything with Psycho Mantis is worse on the PC release of this game. It's kind of like one of the reasons I'd say I recommend playing this on an original PS1 or the PS3 like digital store release instead of playing it on PC. Because what the PC version does is that it removes a lot of very iconic stuff like involved with Psycho Mantis. So for some examples about that, I don't know, I outlined some of them. So yeah, like the PC version isn't exactly ideal for a first-time playthrough because Psycho Mantis doesn't do the controller rumbling thing he does in the cutscenes, where it's like, yo, you don't believe like my psychic power? Boom, it makes your controller rumble. Like, I mean, it's goofy as hell like today, but like, dude, that's sick though. And like, it's like, yo, like this breaking the meta, the fourth wall, yo, and you know, to be fair, everyone says that. Like, I mean, it's a very iconic thing with Psycho Mantis, so I mean, it's nothing new to say, but you know, the PC version doesn't have that whatsoever. So it's like, what? It just makes the encounter like a little less memorable. So it's like, come on, man. Though it still is very memorable. I mean, it's Psycho Mantis. Like, come on. Also, another thing is that you have to. So Psycho Mantis on. Oh yeah. Also, another thing he doesn't do is that. So at the very beginning of the fight, he'll like do a blackout where like it looks like your screen blacked out, like your TV screen. So it looked like the game turned itself off, but it didn't, and then the game will turn itself back on. It's like, yo, sick. However, the most painful thing about Psycho Mantis on PC is that so on the original game, you have to change in order to like Psycho Mantis to like read your mind. So, but the way to make him not read your mind is to change like the way your controller's plugged in. So like your controller, to play first player, you plug into the first controller port. However, in order to like pretty much not have Psycho Mantis like read your mind, you plug it into the second controller port. You know, very smart, very cool. However, on PC there are no controller ports. So the way they kind of got around this is that instead of like changing your controller port, you have to use the keyboard. And what sucks about the keyboard is that Metal Gear Solid 1 is like a game that's so like perfect on a PlayStation controller. Like, I can't imagine myself playing this like any other way. So for the game to literally force you to change your entire like control setup just to fight this one boss fight, oh my goodness. Like, I mean, it's such a headache. I hate it. And it's like pretty much what this fight isn't that hard. I mean, figuring it out could be a little hard. Like, I don't know. So pretty much like a Mantis, he goes through phases. So like the one where he's teleporting around, you can actually figure out where he's going to teleport by going to first person mode. Because instead of actually seeing things from your perspective, you're going to be seeing things from Psycho Mantis's perspective. So you just see where he's looking and then go where he is before he like attacks you with a big shadow ball. And that's how you pretty much predict that. And then after he's done doing that and just kind of is visible, he'll start moving objects around the room. And pretty much how you avoid all, like, I mean, the first one's like the chairs. You just kind of keep it a bit of distance from him. You can still shoot him a bunch when he's throwing the chairs. And then once he's done with the chairs, he's going to throw a bunch of objects. You can just pretty much like crawl and avoid. So you can kind of maybe shoot him a little bit, but then once those objects come into like your range, then you can kind of crawl to avoid those objects. Then when those objects are put away, that's when you stand up to shoot him some more. And then there's like the final phase where he throws a bunch of books. And what you do in that phase, you pretty much just stick to the far left or far right of the room because you can't duck under those books. Those books will actually hit you even if you're like crawling. And then you just kind of go from there. Then he does a teleporting thing again. And now one strategy I did is I hide behind this table because, I don't know, I'm playing on PC, so I do not have the best reactions because I'm not used to playing on a fucking keyboard. I want to play Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation controller. Get out of here. I mean, if you do want to play on keyboard and if that's like more natural to you, then you're actually in luck because you don't have to change your control style at all. You can just beat him on keyboard easily because the game just assumes you're using a controller the whole time. So yeah, so I'm taking a slower strategy to accommodate for the fact that I'm using an unfamiliar control setup which I just don't like using. So what I do is I hide behind this table because like Psycho Mantis, if you're hiding behind this table, he can pretty much spawn in two places which will force you to stand up, like pretty much up there and then right in front of you. And then all the other times he spawns in other places, I'm just gonna wait him out. I'm not gonna shoot him. So that's pretty much the way I deal with him because I do not want to. This fight was such a hassle, and Psycho Mantis has such a long health bar too. Like, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I was using a controller, but I'm using a keyboard, and I loathe it. I despise it. It just feels so unnatural. Like you just don't feel as in control. Like I hate it, and it shouldn't be the way you should experience the game for a first-time playthrough, unless like not just for this keyboard stuff, which is like more my thing, but just because like all the other stuff he does is just gone. And also he doesn't read your save file. And to be fair, when I was playing on PS3, I didn't have anything saved, so he'll be like, your mind is quite empty. And he doesn't do any of the other things too. Like, I don't know, one thing he'll do is that if you, like, he'll, like, analyze the way you saved the game. So if you, like, never really saved, like, if you, like, barely save while playing Metal Gear Solid 1, he'll be like, you're quite reckless. But if you, like, save a bunch, he'll be like, you're very careful. Like, it's just cool stuff like that's not in the PC version, so I just don't recommend, like, going through that on PC. But yeah, I mean, so that's like the first phase of Psycho Mantis. He goes through those attacks. However, once you like pretty much dwindle his health bar down like to half, I believe, then he'll bring Meryl into the picture, and you can kind of just approach Meryl and throw her a bunch. However, there's going to be a little bit of complication with that, is that every time you throw Meryl, Psycho Mantis will then follow up by throwing a Shadow Ball. So, you know, you throw Meryl on the ground to stun her, then Mantis will throw a Shadow Ball, so either dodge him or punch him. However, since I was on an unfamiliar control scheme, I didn't punch him all the time, because sometimes I would like be in the wrong place and I'd be punching in the wrong direction, and I'd be stuck in place and he'd throw a Shadow Ball and be like, ugh, yeah, ugh. So that was just very annoying. And okay, so, but yeah, once you take Meryl out there, then he'll like bring her up again to like pretty much make her shoot herself, and then it only takes one time. Then it only takes like one time to make her it takes only one time to stun her with a throw. So then once you throw her once, then Psycho Mantis will start teleporting a whole bunch and never stopping. So like, I don't know, normally in the first phase of the fight, Psycho Mantis will switch between the phases like naturally. However, now he will only do teleportation until you get his health point down to a certain point. Then once you get his health point down to a certain point, he's gonna start throwing items around the room, except it's a little more extreme this time because he has pretty much two items he can throw. He can either throw the books and the chairs at the exact same time, or he can throw every single item which you can like crawl under at the same time. So it's like, ooh, it's a very extreme version of his fight. So like, his fight's good, but oh, I hate playing it on keyboard. It's so annoying. And also, Psycho Mantis is just a really cool fight in general, but man, on PC, hate that. And I mentioned mods before, and I am using some mods. Pretty much the widescreen mod. So I know it's a little complicated. I had to download like DG Voodoo for like shadows and stuff as well. So I pretty much had to upscale the game to like my computer's, like my laptop's resolution, which is like 2880 by like 1880, which is a super weird resolution because I can't do 1920 by 1080. Like on every single game I play, like the lowest resolution, which isn't like going insane, like, you know, which isn't going to like 2550, is 1650 by like 1050, and it's like that's too low. And like, I don't know, it's pretty much the reason why most of my videos, which are at 1080p, have like black bars on the side, because I'm recording at like 1754 by like 1080, because I can't do 1920 by 1080 because it'll have black bars regardless. So it's more natural to do it this way, but it's still, there's gonna be black bars in my footage. So unless I stretch the image out unnaturally, it's gonna be very weird. So anyways, in this area, the hang out with the wolves, it can be complicated if you don't know where you're going. So before I talk about that, so what you want to do is you want to flip Meryl, then you're going to want to equip this cardboard box, because the dogs will piss on it, which will make going through the area like backwards. Then you're going to have to backtrack here, and then you're also going to have to go forward through here again. It's going to make doing all that easier, because once you have like a box that's pissed on, the dogs will be friendly to you.
This place is mine.
However, the first time going through that like cave, you have to know exactly where you're going, because if you don't know, because you pretty much have to rush that entire area so that the dogs never attack you. That's pretty much how you do it. However, if you're like running to areas and like you're going to the wrong exit, then the dog's gonna attack you, it's gonna damage you, it's gonna be like, bro, come on. However, once you do that area once, you'll have like the pissed box if you throw Meryl and then get into the box. And then once you have the pissed box, that area is like a complete like joke, and it shouldn't be difficult. Though first time playthroughs, it could be annoying because the area is really dark. It's kind of hard to figure out where you have to go, but once you know where you have to go, just do that and just pretty much rush it as fast as you can so that the dogs do not attack you. So anyways, here Meryl's gonna go this whole elaborate presentation about, hey yo, I just crossed these mines, isn't that really cool? And then I am going to do something which is a little bit cooler.
Wow, a little bit.
Only a little?
I'm just gonna walk forward. I don't know, weird thing about like the mines here is like, I mean, to be fair, I never tested it, but I feel like they're not really that dangerous. I don't know, but like, I mean, when in sniper fight, I never felt like I got mined at any point. But, you know, I'm still being careful here, though, because, I mean, I don't want to get mined. I don't want to take damage just after that whole big cutscene with the dogs in the cave or whatever. So, anyways, here, once you go through here, I'm going to wait for, like, the dog to kind of pass by, because I'm kind of scared if, like, a dog sees me before I equip the box, that they'll still be angry at me, even if I have the box. So, I'm just going to wait for this dude to pass by, and then I'm going to crawl out, get into the box, so that they're all friendly with me. So, like, there's an item you get, like, later on in the game, which is, like, a handkerchief, which makes the dogs also friendly with you, but you don't have that at this point, so instead, here's the box. So, you know, very cool, very nice. So, yeah. So, Metal Gear Solid 1, I mean, Metal Gear, even from the very beginning, has always used cardboard boxes as a way to kind of play stealth games. And, like, in the very first Metal Gear, like, on the MSX, that's what the console is, I believe. I don't know. But, like, you use cardboard boxes kind of kept past, like, security cameras. I forgot how, but that's what you did. And it was pretty cool. I'm assuming that Metal Gear 2 on the MSX was the same. But then in Metal Gear Solid, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the cardboard box is a little, like, more useless now. Like, I mean, it has uses, like, you know, the one I used it for right now. But for actual stealth, like, I don't know. Like, the issue with it is that usually it's to hide from enemies. But, like, if the enemy sees you in the cardboard box, they'll stop and go, what is that doing here? And they'll go and check. And when they go and check, you're pretty much guaranteed to get caught. You can't really do anything about it. Like, once they see you and they go, what's that over there? You're screwed. Future games would actually give you ways to, like, combat pretty much. Oh yeah, so anyway, I mean, I just want to mention quickly that yes, this is the part where we're backtracking for the sniper rifle, and while we're backtracking for the sniper rifle, I'll also be picking up extra items like this night vision goggles I'm not going to use. So yeah, anyways, yeah, like the box, I mean, like future games would add ways to kind of pretty much deal with enemies if they, like, see you in the box. In fact, it's a way to actually, like, manipulate enemies. So, like, in Metal Gear Solid 2, an enemy sees you and goes, what's in the box over there? And they go to check it. When they start lifting the box, you can unequip the box and then hold them up or knock them out or kill them or whatever. Like, boom, you got the drop on them. You got the advantage. That's a reason to use the box. Same thing in Metal Gear Solid 3, though, to be fair. Metal Gear Solid 3 has so many other ways to hide that the box is kind of like, yeah, but you can still do that with a box, and it's pretty cool. Metal Gear Solid 4, same. In fact, it's smoother to do in Metal Gear Solid 4, I believe. And Peace Walker has, like, an insane amount of things you can do with the box. You can shoot from the box, you can explode the box is a smoke machine, like, and also there's, like, co-op things with the box. I mean, the Peace Walker probably has, like, the most versatile boxes, though. And then there's the Phantom Pain, which has, where you can jump out of the box, you can pop out of the box to shoot people. I mean, it's not exactly as robust as, like, some of the box stuff you could do in, like, Peace Walker, but, you know, it's a very useful box. You can slide with the box. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 feels like a very simple box. Though, to be fair, I have not played Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 in a very long time, so I don't know if the box in this game is more useful than the box in those games. Whatever. So yeah, so anyways, when you're running down that minefield, like the snowfield, stick to the right so that the cameras don't really shoot you or see you. And then once you reach, like, a rock near the middle, there's, like, 2 mines I want to pick up, 2 claymores, so I picked them up by pretty much, like, crawling over them. And then after you pick up those 2 claymores, just stick to the right. So anyways, here I'm going to equip and unequip this weapon because there are actually 2 guards in this room. One of them is on the ground floor. The other one is on the top floor here. However, if you run all the way up here and then throw a chafe grenade to pretty much, like, make sure that camera doesn't see you. I'm also going to equip the thermal goggles. It's going to be very useful to see claymores in areas later on because the game gets sneaky with them later on. So yeah, if you, like, run all the way here, like, immediately, then the guard upstairs shouldn't see you. However, if you delay it, then you might get caught in their pattern. So yeah. Anyways, here, like, once you do that, if you're following the path the same way I'm following it with the exact same timings, wait on the stairs there for the guard to, like, not see you, and then run all the way to the elevator. And we're gonna go to the pretty much B2 to pick up the sniper rifle. But yeah, I equip and unequip the chafe grenades because, like, if you do that, you don't make any sound on those graded floors. However, if you just run normally, then the guard on that top floor will actually hear you. He'll look behind you and then he'll see you, and he'll be very, very sad. So anyways, here, pretty much knock that guy out, run all the way here, but however, wait, because there's a guard there. We're gonna wait for that guard to turn around, and we're going to kill him because we're gonna enter this exact room which he's patrolling. And frankly, I don't know how to predict. I have not routed it to predict, like, when he'll be looking away from me to, like, run past him, and I'm just not gonna deal with that. So I'm just gonna kill him to not have to worry about that at all. So when it's here, like, it's a very this is a very weird, clunky thing. Like, you have to, like, kind of move diagonal to not trip the lasers, and it's just like, I don't like it. It feels weird. It's a clunky little puzzle. But yeah, once you kill that guy, now we should be good to go. I don't know, one annoying thing is that if you like go up this wall here, you can't see past this wall. It just kind of gives you a wider view of nothing, so it's kind of sad. So here I'm just trying to predict if like the guard is there or not. I'm just kind of, you know, worried, like, you know, what's going on here? What's going on here? But I kind of get a little brave. I go there, and now here I'm being very careful because I don't have a radar and I don't know the enemy patterns perfectly at this point. So it's just like, okay, there's a guard walking there, but there's no one on the top, so I should go to the elevator like that. Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, another thing which made me not like Psycho Mantis on PC is that I had a headache the entire time I was fighting him. I don't know why I had a headache, but I had this throbbing headache, and I was just pushing through that. I was pushing through like my unfamiliarity with like the keyboard, the way it just felt unnatural. It was just like horrible, horrible experience, which I just do not want to go. Just played like the PS3 digital version or the PS1 version, though to be fair, most people don't own PS1s, and then sadder still, most people don't own PS3s. We got the PS4, the PS5, like, oh my goodness. Like, why would you buy a PS3? Or I guess maybe emulate, though. I don't know how the PS1 emulation scene is, but if you can emulate PS2 games, like, you gotta be able to emulate stuff like PS1 games. So, I mean, I don't know about that. But yeah, just Metal Gear Solid 1's great. You should play it. And yeah. Oh yeah, so I've mentioned before, this is a segmented run, which means I'll be editing like different gameplay clips together to kind of make it seem like it's seamless. However, one thing which kind of ruins that are chafe grenades. Now, what do I mean by that? So anyways, here I'm going to take the same path I took before, except this time I'm going to equip and unequip the chafe grenade to not make any noise. So to be fair, that's kind of unnecessary, because the first time I did it, I didn't do that and it worked perfectly fine. But here I'm just being safe because I got one of the YouTubers I was like copying did it, so I was kind of like, I'm going to do what you did. But to be fair, I don't really think you need to do it, but might as well do it for the style. And well, in this room, one of the only weapons you really have available to equip is the chafe grenades, because the rest of them are locked, so that's kind of sad. But oh, I was mentioning that the first person mode wasn't exactly ideal, and that's because you can't walk left or right. Left and right only turns the camera left and right. You can only walk forward and backwards when you're in first person, so it's not an ideal way to play the game. But it is kind of cool to activate every now and then, because it's like, whoa, you can move in first person? Like, whoa, that's a cool thing about the integral version of this game. But yeah, okay, so I was mentioning, so when you're editing segmented runs together, like one thing which makes the footage seem more choppy are chafe grenades, because if you use a chafe grenade and enter the next area, the sound of the chafe grenade will follow you to the next area. So when you're like editing two different clips together, like, you know, I mean, you enter one area, but like the next area is like a different clip, like it's gonna have different sound. It's not gonna have the chafe grenade sound. So like you need to do a lot more work to make it seem natural. I did not do that work, though. Hopefully, I hope it still sounds natural, because, you know, I mean, you know, it'd be nice to have a nice kind of seamless looking video. But yeah, the chafe grenades, it kind of complicates things, so the sound follows you throughout the doors. And certain doors in this game, like the really big heavy gate doors, like, I mean, they continue with that sound throughout, like, you going from one area to the other area. And also, I guess, same thing with elevators. So to be fair, I don't think I ever encountered a situation where I was on an elevator and then I went to a different part, because I usually did like any parts with elevators in one go. So that's pretty nice. So here we're gonna enter the sniper wolf fight, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for her to get behind the pillar, because then that gives me a very brief chance to lay down and get my sniper rifle ready. Because I don't know, any other area she stops by, she immediately gets down and like goes into firing position. But on the pillar, like the kind of pillar she stands behind, that's like the one place where she actually take a little pause, a little breather. And in that little breather, you can get down and shoot her. And I'm sure there's more like speed-running effective ways to get down and start shooting her quickly. Though here, I'm gonna play it very safe, because, you know, why not? It's a sniper battle. You know, be patient with it. And then, you know, if you're patient with it, then it should be good, and things should go pretty swell. Though, word to the wise, you're gonna have to hit her every single time, because if you miss one and she shoots you, boom, you took damage. So, and you can't exactly move while crawling, so you don't have much mobility either to work with. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty limited sniper fight, but it's a very cool one. And yeah, it's very cool. I mean, PS1, it kind of limits things, but, you know, it's a cool fight, you know, very tense, very suspenseful. And it's a cool area, little hallway. So, excuse me. Oh, there was a point in this video So my first my Metal Gear Solid 2 video, there were points where I straight up forgot to record certain things, so I had to redo sections of the game. And I thought the same thing happened to me in this Metal Gear Solid 1 video, but it didn't, so I'm very happy about that. What actually happened is that I just trimmed one of my footage clips wrong. So I just went and undid the trim and trimmed it right, and it was very easy. So that was very nice. So one weird thing with the Sniper Wolf fight is that when she goes all the way to the left in that one area where you kind of can't see her, like most of the time she won't shoot you, but there was a few times where she actually got a shot on me, and I was like so mad about that. So every time she goes over there, I fire a few shots, and I think that scares her from not firing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Or maybe it was just my positioning in previous attempts which kind of screwed me over, I don't know. So you don't really have that much ammo, so once you run out of ammo, you're gonna have to run to the right to get it. So I'll do that after I run out of ammo here. Or at least very close to running out of ammo. And look at that, I ran through like the entire middle of the field there, but no mines went off. But to be fair, if the mines were like actually affecting you during this fight, it would probably be very annoying. So yeah, also another thing is you don't want to run at all throughout this fight, because if you run any more forward than like this starting area, then boom, you're gonna get shot, because it's a sniper. Like, come on, man, sniper. Also, I'm using the drug, which steadies your aim. Though another way to kind of steady your aim is to just kind of equip and unequip the weapon. Like, that'll kind of reset the kind of shakiness of the sniper. And then, yeah, that pretty much ends here. And we're going to enter pretty much the next part where I take damage. So, yeah.
Don't move!
Don't kill me yet. I'm too alive. Leave it to me. I want no more accidents like that Darpa chief.
Yes, he's my target. Mine.
Press.
So, okay, here is the famous Metal Gear Solid spam button to not get tortured to death. And I will actually be doing the part, I'll pretty much be doing this in the way where I actually take damage because, well, it's a Metal Gear Solid game, so I just don't feel it'll be natural if I skip this by giving up. But, you know, immediately giving up at the beginning of this does technically make this no damage, and it is what pretty much the path which Garland the Great took to pretty much do it like all of no damage in Metal Gear Solid 1 until the very ending. But I am actually going to spam the button, because spamming the button, you know, takes a bit of skill, and I thought I just wanted to show that off, you know. I'm going to get the Meryl ending, though, to be fair. I prefer the Otacon ending. It just feels more in tone with the game, just kind of, you know, reflecting on the tragedies of Shadow Moses and all that. And also Otacon's awesome, so, like, why not? But Meryl's ending is kind of a little bit too typical, though it does have some good points about it. And also just, you know, ooh, torture, yeah. And also, suffering through the torture gives you extra dialogue with Revolver Ocelot here. Though, to be fair, the torture thing is like kind of complicated because you can go through it 4 times, you know, if you're insane enough to do that. And after, like, pretty much you can escape the prison, like, multiple ways. Like, I don't know, one way is to pretty much hide under the bed, like, the second time, I believe. Or wait for Otacon to give you the ketchup, and then you can kind of escape that way. But you can't do it right now because Johnny's always going to be looking at you. So no matter what you do, he's going to know what you're doing. But once he goes to the toilet, that'll give you pretty much your chance to escape. And so yeah, anyways, here I'm trying to figure out Otacon's, like, codec because I didn't memorize it. I don't know, I probably should have done a thing where I wrote down certain important numbers on a flashcard or something like I did for my Splinter Cell video, though. In my Splinter Cell video, it was way more important to know. But here, I'm trying to guess Otacon's, like, codec, but I just do not remember it. So instead, I'm going to call Campbell to kind of get the... I'm going to call Campbell... Or I guess not. Yeah, I'm going to call Campbell because I'm pretty sure you have to at some point for a kind of important story-like thing. And I'm pretty much going to let it play out because I actually just go online to figure out, like, Otacon's codec number. Like, thing is, Otacon tells you his codec like in a cutscene, but since I'm skipping all the cutscenes, I pretty much forgot it. Now, I replayed this game normally, watching all the cutscenes. Then on my second playthrough, this is my extreme playthrough, and this is where I do my no damage. Because, you know, it's been a long while since I've replayed Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, I've replayed Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and 4 an obscene amount of times. Like, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and 4 are, like, amazing games. 4, not so much. But, like, Metal Gear Solid 1 is also not exactly my favorite. Like, I mean, you know, the story's great. I mean, the atmosphere is great. And, like, I mean, a good chunk of the game is really good. But then it just kind of flounders near the second half. And there's just certain parts of it which I don't find that fun. And also, just the stealth in general just isn't as engaging as some of the future games. Like, it's just a little too simple. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, is that the game kind of has this thing where it gets easier as it goes along in terms of stealth. Like, I mean, that very beginning area with, like, the huge snowfield, the helicopters and all that, that's such a fun area to try to, like, figure out and all that. And, I mean, the beginning areas, like, are also really fun to kind of sneak through. But then you, like, near the end of the game, you just kind of stop doing that and to rely more on action. It's kind of like, it makes replays a little more boring. And also the backtracking is a little egregious in this one. Like, on future games, it would kind of not have that kind of annoyances. And replaying this, well, I don't know. I also wasn't that big on Peace Walker, but maybe I'll like it more if I do a big no damage of all the missions. I don't know. Whatever I say about Peace Walker, I'll say about Peace Walker. So yeah, this is just kind of a game which it's really good, but I wasn't exactly, I don't like it as much as like the PS2 ones. Though I'd go as far to say that I probably like it better than the MSX ones though. Like, I don't know. I mean, Metal Gear MSX is like a little too esoteric for my taste, which, to be fair, that game isn't even that esoteric. Like, I mean, you can kind of figure it out with some experimentation, though I still had to look up a walkthrough because, like, bro, come on. And then Metal Gear 2, like, is awesome, but, like, certain sections are shit. Like, I hate certain sections of that game. Like the one where you have to, like, go through, like, the pond, the sewer, what was the word? The swamp. That is ridiculous. I do not know how I would no damage that. Memorizing that would be horrible. But yeah. So anyways, here I'm just back to doing the torture. So yeah, you can kind of wait for Otacon to come and escape at that point. But if you do more torture sections, Gray Fox will break you out of the torture, like the prison. So you can kind of just wait for that. But then you'll have to go through more of the torture. You know, spam that action key a lot more. But yeah, I was saying something. So. But yeah, so instead of just doing the no damage immediately, like I did for Metal Gear Solid 2, I decided to actually just replay the game normally and, you know, just kind of get engaged in the story, the characters. I mean, this game really is mostly cutscenes, you know, great cutscenes and stuff. Not perfect, though. The game, the writing's not the best. Like, it's a little overwritten, a little bloated at points. I don't know, certain character relationships I feel aren't that strong. Like, I don't know, like Snake's relationship with Meryl could have been done better. But like, I don't know, one relationship which I think is done pretty well is Otacon and like Snake, just kind of two dudes from like completely different sides of the world being put through the same kind of situation, being controlled against their will for like a purpose they didn't agree to go, and just kind of breaking out of that to, like, you know, be free, be them. You know, it's a very cool relationship, you know, very nice, and that's probably why the Otacon ending fits more. And also the Otacon ending gives you the stealth camo, which I prefer over the Infinite Bandana, because I prefer this more as a stealth game than I do an action game. Though I won't say that all the action set pieces of this game are like bad or like, you know, sacrilege or whatever. Like, I mean, some of the action set pieces work really well. I mean, the boss fights like mostly work pretty well, and some action set pieces I think are a nice break from the game. But I don't know, sometimes the game kind of sacrifices stealth gameplay for its action, and the level design gets a little less interesting, like in the second half as well.
It's me! Oh, jeez. He's coming back. See you later.
Wait!
But then there's also the case of the twin snakes, and I mean, I'm just gonna say flat out, I much prefer this game over the twin snakes. Some reasons, like a little more specific, other reasons a little more valid, or whatever. I don't know, one thing is, Metal Gear Solid feels like a game you play on PlayStation controller. Playing it on GameCube kind of feels like ass. And so the strategy here is kind of just stay by the door, very close, you know, be bleeding and all that. And the reason I say stay close by the door is that you're going to have to get up and run past this guy without taking damage. So if you're really close by, you can kind of get the drop on him like that. Boom. And that'll be very nice. Oh, so anyways, here, if you go past this door, you'll get a funny cutscene where like the dude will try to take you down, but then he'll poop himself and run away. However, I did not have my card key equipped because I didn't think I actually had the card key on me. So instead, I kind of just quickly took him out, and that worked pretty well. So there's a camera there, so we'll have to use the chafe grenade. And also, something to watch out for is that when you get all your equipment back, there will actually be a bomb in your inventory, which you'll have to throw away. However, I didn't know that. In fact, I figured this out by random chance, like way to my attempts. Like, I don't know, there was one point where I thought I got blown up by a claymore, but it was actually just a bomb in my inventory. I literally like take it out of my inventory when there's like 20 seconds left. So anyways, here you can kind of get past this area without chafe grenades. But, you know, be careful though, because if you're not careful, it could shoot you. And it caught me, but it didn't have enough time to shoot me, so. Yeah, so anyways, this area is a bit hard. We're just gonna start shooting everyone. Oh yeah, I actually forget. Oh yeah, I think I'm coming back here to get more stun grenades, because it was something which like Garland the Great did. Because the next section, which will be coming up in a bit, is like one of those super high action set pieces, and we're gonna need a shit ton of like stun grenades to like no damage it, because without them, though maybe there could have been a way to do it with the FAMAS, but no. Stun grenades is the way to go. So yeah, here, get the stun grenades there, and then we're gonna go down below. And the reason we're killing enemies is just to, like, the guard patterns in this area are just weird. They kind of conflict with your ways, where you're going. It's just, it is not something I want to route for. So instead of dealing with it, I'm gonna kill everyone. And sadly, wait, actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with sadly. When I return there, I think all the guards respawn, so I'm gonna have to kill all of them again. So anyways, here we're gonna go to this one area which I didn't blow up before, but I'm gonna blow it up now to get some items. There we go, boom. Oh yeah, so I mentioned, so another bad thing about first-person mode is that I'm pretty sure you can't pick up these items while in first-person mode, so that kind of ruins it a bit. So yeah, all I need is stun grenades, so I'm not going to mess with whatever's in that other area, because you get like a camera, which could let you take photos, but I'm not here to take photos. I'm here to, like, you know, no damage here. So yeah, here, I'm kind of, if you wait like right here, you should be able to get the drop on 2 enemies. Though you got to do a little bit of waiting. Yeah, a little bit of waiting. I was talking about the twin snakes. So yeah, so get the drop on this guy, because if you don't, he'll start walking towards you, and that's not cool. And then this guy, you can get the drop on him too, because he'll start walking towards you. And that's another. Okay, so one positive about first person mode is that you can actually see where you're shooting and kind of manipulate it while you're shooting in first person. So I mean, you know, going to first person mode to align yourself is one thing, but actually being in first person mode and being able to align yourself on the fly while shooting, that definitely helps. So yeah. Kill those 2 guys, and this guy you don't really have to kill because he's gonna get out of our way pretty soon, so we can go to the elevator. Yeah, he's gonna go to the right, and once he does that, we can go to the elevator. Very nice. You don't really need to equip and unequip your weapon there, but yeah, the twin snakes, I don't like playing Metal Gear Solid 1 on a GameCube controller. It feels horrible. Like, I mean, is that Metal Gear Solid, the twin snakes, is pretty much like a Metal Gear Solid 2 like skin of Metal Gear Solid 1, and that's another thing. Playing Metal Gear Solid 2 on a PlayStation controller just feels right. Playing it on any other type of setup I'm sure is going to be horrible. So playing that on a GameCube controller is just not ideal either. And then there's other issues with the twin snakes, is that the music isn't as good, and also like the cutscenes are like done kind of take the serious moments like in a stupid way. Like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is goofy, but like there are serious moments in this game, and those serious moments are like hampered by like the way the new cutscenes are directed, and also the voice acting is worse for the most part. Like, it's either like a little more goofy or a little less like emotional than the first game. I mean, I can understand why they would have to re-record it, but the way they re-recorded it was very just for the worse. Like, I don't know, but to be fair, and I mean, the way that Metal Gear Solid 1 areas are designed, combined with Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay, can break the game at points, though, to be fair. I mean, when it comes to that, I'll probably talk more about that if I ever do No Damage Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, because, well, I'll be talking more about that, because, I mean, I would want to approach that game differently than I would this game. Instead of, like, just sneaking through the game normally, I would actually want to get all the dog tags, because that's one of the most fun things about Metal Gear Solid 2's gameplay, is getting all those dog tags. I didn't do that in my Metal Gear Solid 2 video because I was playing on European Extreme and all the dog tags are gone. But in Twin Snakes, I could give it a go because it does change the way you approach the stealth and kind of how you approach problems, and it makes for a more engaging experience. I mean, getting the dog tags gives you no real beneficial reward. I mean, in Metal Gear Solid 2, it gave you extra like cheat items and all that. But in the Twin Snakes, it doesn't give you anything, but it does change the way you approach these kind of like the puzzles become a lot more complicated, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, I'll talk more about the Twin Snakes if I ever do play the Twin Snakes. But overall, Metal Gear Solid 1 is just the way you should experience the game first. Like, I mean, I don't know, I've seen some people say that the Twin Snakes isn't supposed to replace, like, Metal Gear Solid 1, but the way the Twin Snakes advertise itself, it advertised itself as a replacement of Metal Gear Solid 1, but, like, the way, like, the tone of Metal Gear Solid 1, like, the way the cutscenes present themselves, like, the music, the colors, like, it's all, like, way more, like, impactful in this OG PlayStation, like, 1 game, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I mean, there's so many death scenes which hit so much harder in this game than they ever did in, like, the Twin Snakes, just, like, man. But I do gotta replay the Twin Snakes at some point, though. I don't know how to record it, because emulating the game's a bit too choppy. Though recording my GameCube, like, would be, like, at 480p, so I'd be kind of sad. I kind of want to get, like, a splitter, which, like, upscales my GameCube to, like, 1080p, though. That is expensive, though. I did get some YouTube monetization. I'm making a slight bit of bank from YouTube, you know. Not much, but, you know, I mean, it could be used to buy stuff which will make these videos better. So, yeah. Though emulating the game will give me the advantage of playing it on a PlayStation controller, but even then the setup's still a little weird because it was modified to be GameCube, but like, yeah, just weird all around. So this part is like kind of one of the first horrible sections of the game. So like, I mean, I just copied pretty much Geralt the Great's strategy. Pretty much, okay, so set up some like claymores there, and then I'll pretty much blow up the enemies following you. And then when you're climbing up the tower, you're just gonna throw a bunch of stun grenades. However, we're not gonna do it immediately though. Like, okay, here we go. First flight of stairs, done. Second flight of stairs, done. I forget if it's the third or the fourth where I do it. Okay, so third flight of stairs done. On the fourth flight of stairs, put another claymore down, just because. And now we're gonna switch to stun grenades. So here, I'm gonna do something where I throw one, and I'm gonna take it a little slow with the throwing on this first flight of stairs. But then later on, I'm gonna get a little bit more spammy with it. So yeah, I mean, it's a little luck-based because sometimes the guards can shoot you, sometimes they can hit you, and it's just like, it's luck-based, but if you have a ton of stun grenades, you can kind of mitigate the luck by just spamming them whole bunch. Once we get to this part, I'm going to start spamming them a whole bunch. I don't know, I start doing a thing where I don't just throw them immediately. I instead kind of hold one, and then I throw it after holding it for a long time, which will kind of have the same effect as kind of throwing them a whole bunch, but it kind of makes them last longer, I'd say. So just that's kind of the way I do it. Just kind of hold it for a little bit and then throw it, instead of just throwing it immediately while climbing up these stairs, because you gotta make use of all these stun grenades as much as possible. And also just keep holding left on the D-pad. That's another thing about why playing this game on the D-pad is better, because holding left on the D-pad will just make you automatically climb these stairs without having to navigate your directions naturally. So you can just kind of just hold that down and just kind of let the game automate itself. And thankfully, if you throw enough stun grenades, you should be pretty safe to just run to the ladder to end this horrible set piece. Oh my goodness. I'm actually very worried about how this works in the Twin Snakes. I heard stun grenades are nowhere near as useful as they are here than in the Twin Snakes. So I think in the Twin Snakes, this little action set piece may actually be impossible. Yeah, just keep running. You have one guard on you, and also stick to the right there, because if you stick to the left, you'll kind of hit that pillar and like kind of stand against it, and that'll ruin everything. So yeah. And now here we have an even more horrible set piece. Like, it's just one shitty set piece after another shitty set piece. So here we're gonna jump down the building, and fucking hell, this building. Like this next section, which will last like what, 10-20 seconds, took me 2 fucking hours to do. And it's just like, it's so fucking weird. Like the physics, there's like physics involved where you kind of jump from here to there. You have to like modulate whether you like kind of go down a little bit or don't down a little bit. Like the gas things are like a little bit random. Sometimes they'll turn off like at the exact right time. Sometimes they won't. And it's just like, ah. And also here, hold down the jump button to go down, which is X, and down. And it'll pretty much make it so that you do that. Because if you do it like right when the game starts, you won't go that down. So when it's here, go down a little bit there, so not hit the gas and go down there. It's so close. It's so weird. And also, you go from left to right, but sometimes there's physics involved, which don't let you go that right, don't let you go that left. And most of it's just luck-based. And also, sometimes the fucking machine gun fire comes in and just kind of ruins everything. This is sheer luck. Like, there are some strategies, maybe. Like, you maybe follow the same path I took, but it's a buffoonery. Utter buffoon. Like, I mean, sometimes I take damage if I do that. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm not that close to the air and I take damage. It's like, horrible. I do not ever want to repeat that ever again. Just such shit. And then from here, it becomes a lot easier. We have a little break where you just kind of use a sniper rifle and just take these guys out. Now, another way to take these guys out is with the Nikita launchers. Just kind of shoot them from afar and just kind of take them out that way. However, I'm going to save the Nikita launchers for future encounters because I will need a lot of Nikita launchers to pretty much defeat some future encounters. So instead, I'm going to use the sniper rifle. And thankfully, this sniper, I would not have thought of using the sniper rifle if not for Darling the Great. So yeah, thank you for that. That was a very useful strategy. And yeah, it takes 4 shots to kill these guys, and you don't have that much sniper rifle ammo. So be careful about the way you shoot them. So yeah, and then after that, we're going to have a very big breather, at least very much a big breather in comparison to the rest of the stuff we've had to do. So yeah, here just kind of run, not too bad, and enter the next building. Like here, we're just going to have to deal with some chafe grenade stuff, which, I mean, if you can route it, then you'll be fine. So, so you have to go up. However, if you don't go down, then you can't go up. What I mean by that is there'll be like a bunch of stuff blocking your path to go up. However, if you go down, then you'll hear a noise and this stuff will be moved. So you actually do have to tediously go all the way down to go up. So that's just a little weird thing. Now, sometimes games have things where you have to go a certain direction, but if you don't go the wrong direction, then the certain direction you have to go in won't open. So just a little something there. So I was thinking about something, like, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 2 kind of gets brought up as this, like, super smart, like, game where it's like, oh, the player's not in control and all that, but, like, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 1 also has a lot of aspects of that. It's just more that Metal Gear Solid 2 also just kind of takes those aspects to the very extreme by using Metal Gear Solid 1's whole design as a basis to explore those ideas and all that. So, I don't know, just thought that was interesting, because, I don't know, sometimes I feel maybe Metal Gear Solid 1 might be kind of put into the idea of it being kind of more of an action game per se, kind of more of an action movie thing, while it's still dealing with a lot of those more high concept ideas which Metal Gear Solid 2 is also dealing with. I mean, to be fair, this may also just be a case of me making up a guy in my head to be mad about, but I don't know, I mean, I feel like I've seen those kind of like ideas brought together. Maybe I used to think those ideas before, I don't know, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So anyways, here, I don't know, every time you reach like the 3rd set of stairs, throw a chaff grenade, though either way you do it, you're probably just going to have to throw one for each camera, just because there's so many stairs. So you can't really skip any of these, at least to my knowledge. So yeah. I don't know of any routing to skip one of these to use less chaff grenades. So you're going to need a lot of chaff grenades, whatever. I'm going to call them chaff grenades to get past these cameras, but also you need to know when these cameras show up. They usually show up on like the 3rd or 4th flight of stairs or whatever. I mean, what is a flight even? Anyways, here we are going to fight the Hind, and that will be something. Now, when it comes to like my outline, I have points, though a lot of my points are about future sections, so I'll just talk about those parts when I get there. So technically I ran out of stuff to talk about on the outline, and I guess let's just talk about stuff on a moment-to-moment basis. This happens in every video. It's normal, so it'd be like that. So anyways, here is the Hind fight. Started off like, equip your stinger and then boom, shoot it. And every time you shoot the Hind D here, it will fire back. So pretty much, shoot it, take cover, and then go out, shoot it, take cover, and that's pretty much how the fight's gonna go. And well, I mean, he'll switch up his phases later on, and it becomes a little more complicated. But yeah, that's pretty much the fight. And I don't know. After playing Metal Gear Solid 2, this fight's kind of boring. Like on Metal Gear Solid 2 just did so many like things to like this kind of fight to make it so much more exciting and like impactful, while here it's just kind of, it's pretty straightforward, and he has a huge ton of health, so you just kind of go with the flow. But it's kind of slow, it just kind of takes a while. It's like, oh, alright. But Metal Gear Solid 2 is like, oh, he can do this, he can shoot missiles, and then the fates will switch here and there. It's like, oh my goodness. But here it's just kind of like, eh. I mean, I guess it's alright for what it is, but man, the hair. What was it? Did you fight a Harrier in Metal Gear Solid 2? The Harrier, just there's so much more going on with the Harrier than with the Hind D here. And you know, to be fair, it's not fair comparing one game to future games or whatever, but it's just like there's such similar fights that it's just like one is doing so much more that's like whatever. Oh, so there'll come a point where the Hind will start shooting more, or like the Hind will kind of adopt this pattern where it'll go under the stage to kind of hide from you and like, you know, fake you out, and that's when things will get a little more challenging. Now, I believe Jaguar King had this one strategy to kind of take care of this section super quickly, and I do not follow that strategy because it was just kind of hard to even understand what he was doing. So instead, I take a much slower strategy. So pretty much the only time I'll shoot the helicopter, I mean, in the beginning, just kind of shoot him when he like finishes his missile thing. Also, when he's about to shoot all the missiles at you, just go to the area where I was at and you'll be safe. That is also true of the second missile barrage, and the second missile barrage is at the very ending of the fight when you pretty much kill them. So pretty much the way I damage the Hind from now on is I wait for it to get up, and then I take my shot there, and then that's pretty much it. That's the only time I'll try to shoot the Hind, because trying to shoot it like in between those times will, like, I mean, you could do it and you could do some pretty great stuff, in fact speed up the fight a lot more, but man, it's complicated, and like, with such a long fight I don't want to take like that many risks. So instead, I'm going to go for the strategy which I like. So here I'm just going to take cover all the time, because sometimes you'll do that, sometimes you'll do that. I don't know. Sometimes when the helicopter's like crossing over, there's kind of like a brief period you get a shot at him, but I'm just not going to deal with it. Also, you can find out where the helicopter is hiding by targeting it with a stinger, because then there'll be like a very subtle like marker where it is, and then you can target it, and then when it goes up, boom, get a shot in there. And that's pretty much the safe way to approach the fight. He'll get faster when he gets up, and sometimes he'll be slower when he gets up. And also, you're going to want to be in a position where you can actually shoot him when he comes up. I don't know, when he goes down, you don't exactly want to be in cover, because you'll get into cover like after you take your shot. So why be in cover? Because being in cover, I mean, it's a mistake which I commit. Like, being in cover means you can't get a good angle on where, you know, the Hind D is going to come up. Sometimes it could come up and the box is in front of you, so you can't shoot down. So the come on. Here, you know, be kind of more open air, and boom, take your shot, and then go into hiding. I mean, this box right here is pretty much like your main cornerstone of like cover. Also, another thing about this Hind, it's something which I noticed, because it wasn't really all that important in like the Metal Gear Solid 2 fight, or more should I say, I didn't play the Metal Gear Solid 2 fight with headphones, because I played the PS3 HD collection of the Metal Gear Solid 2 fight. So, but here I'm playing the PC version. I'm using headphones, and I'm just noticing that, you know, the sound design of this, it's so nice, because I don't have a radar anymore. So it's like, how am I gonna know where the Hind is? And it's the sound design. I can hear it come from right, I can hear it come from the left. So it's like, I mean, locating it with the stinger is one thing, but also just hearing where it goes, that was very engaging. Very nice sound design. And I'm sure that is true of Metal Gear Solid 2 as well, but it's just not as important, because you don't have to keep track of that as much as you do here, aside from like one or two moments. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And I don't really have anything more to say about this fight. It just kind of is what it is. So yeah, I guess I just won't say anything about the fight. that is an example of like being in cover kind of playing to your disadvantage. Because like, I mean, the boxers are right in front of me, so if I took a different position, I could have gotten my shot in there, but oh well. Oh well. And I guess it's happening kind of again, though. I think that, no, there we go. I got a shot in. Very nice. So, I thought I was going to say something, but I kind of forgot. I forgot. Here where we reach the end of the fight, he's gonna shoot you a bit with the machine gun, so you still need to hide, because there was actually one point where I destroyed the Hind's entire health bar, but then its machine gun fire caught me at this exact moment, and I was so mad about that. It was infuriating. But here we're done, so just kind of stay in this place. He's gonna blow the place up, and then he's gonna blow up, and that'll be the end of the fight. Oh yeah, you might have noticed this throughout the video, but I will I've kind of spent the majority of the first half of the video having a health bar that is not completely full, and the reason for that is after you defeat a boss fight, your health bar will grow, but it actually won't heal, which is a bit of an interesting detail. So like, you know, you'll grow a bigger health bar, but it won't heal up. It'll just grow. So you'll actually have to manually like heal it with like a ration or whatnot to, you know, have that full health bar. So you might think that like my health bar not being full means I took damage. That is not true. It just means that like my health bar has been growing after every boss encounter, but I did not heal it because I'm not going to use any rations. So I mean, but to be fair, when I did that smoking thing, I did take damage during that part. So technically I did take damage at that point. So you know that there was like a little bit of damage to that empty health bar. But not, like it will still be empty even if you take no damage, because you won't be using any rations. Especially for the big boss run. But I'm not doing the big boss run because I alerted too many people with the alarms and all that. So yeah, just a little interesting thing to watch out for. Alright, so here we'll be approaching a section of the game which I thought would be horrible. However, I don't know, Garland the Great strategy made it very easy. Like, I don't know, he had this, like, this room isn't too bad. However, you need to know how to do a very specific thing. You need to know how to run and shoot at the exact same time. I have not been doing that with the previous encounters, and to be fair, the previous encounters didn't exactly call for it, but now it's 100% a necessity to do. And I looked up how to do it because I had zero clue how to do it, and I came across this website where this dude answers it in like the most passionate, furious, like upset way possible. Like the last paragraph of like the explanation, I think really kind of sets the tone perfectly here. So pretty much like it's talking about like the moral of the myth that you can't run and shoot at the same time, and pretty much like I don't know, I mean, so pretty much the way you run and shoot at the exact same time is by holding square and X at the same time. So you press square to shoot, and then you press X to run around while shooting. So you hold those down. Now the way you handle this elevator is run in circles and shoot at the exact same time. Just do that, and you don't really need to quick reload. Oh, that's another thing. So you can quick reload in this game. So if you like pretty much equip and unequip your weapon, you quick reload, and that will be useful later on, but right now you don't really have to because you reload so quick that it's not really necessary, though I'm sure there's some uses for it, but you don't need to. And also some of this is luck based, but if you just keep running in circles and shoot all the enemies, then you should be mostly fine. You know, after a few attempts it should be pretty easy to do. So yeah, just kind of do that, and that'll be that encounter. But yeah, let me read to you pretty much like the last paragraph of like this explanation I found on the snake soup like the .org. Oh yeah, and this was posted in 2004 by Ravi Sinaj, and pretty much the last like little sentence paragraph says, the moral of this myth: read your fucking instruction booklets before declaring that a game can't let you do something, or shoot yourself. I prefer the latter. Like, bro, what the fuck? Why are you so mad? Why are they so mad? Like, bruh. Like, oh my goodness. So yeah, the dude's just so mad. And to be fair, I think he's so mad because he's like talking about a certain review which said that Metal Gear Solid like sucks and is very clunky. But most of the things he was saying is just him being wrong about the way the game controls. So like, and he also said that he said certain games are better. No, I think the reason this person was so mad is because the reviewer he was talking about said that Metal Gear and Metal Gear Snake's Revenge for the NES were better. And like the thing about the NES versions of those games is that they're just worse versions of the MSX titles. Well, not Snake's Revenge. Snake's Revenge is just like a shitty game on its own, right? Which is completely new. So it's just like saying that those games are better than Metal Gear Solid. Like, I guess that gave Ravi here like reason to be mad. So anyways, here you could play this as a sniping battle, or you could take the cheap way out and use the Nikita missiles. Now I have not done this yet, at least I don't think I've done this yet, but you can use first person mode to see where the Nikita goes, and I thought that's not really going to be that useful. However, it is useful because it shows you where Wolf is. If you don't use the first person mode, you won't exactly know where she is. However, go into first person mode and her icon will actually appear as like a little box out in the distance, so you can actually predict where she is. And also Kojima with his like foreshadowing here with his bomb ass pussy, you will understand that reference in a couple of new extra videos, but you know, just keep that in the back of your head for now. So yeah, I'll be using first person mode to kind of track down Sniper Wolf and just kind of blow her up. And thankfully, I mean, it'll take all my missiles, but I will kill her with all the missiles. I mean, I'll have 0 missiles by the end of this, but she'll be dead. I will never have to do any sniping, so that was very nice, very cool. So yeah. And I will need Nikita missiles for the next section. However, some of these lockers here actually have Nikita missiles for me to pick up. So, I mean, even though I use up all of them here, thankfully, I'll have some extra ones to pick up for the next encounters, and I will have enough for the next encounters. That was very nice. Oh yeah, so side note, the first-person perspective of these Nikita missiles is kind of like perverted, isn't it? Like, it's getting a little too close to like Sniper Wolf here. But like, I mean, I was considering, you know what? I don't want to use the first-person mode that much. It's weird. It's like, it's weird that you're like encroaching on like the figure that much. So instead, I'm gonna go third person. And you saw that point where like, I kind of let go of the first person to go third person. And it fucking threw into a wall because you just walked away from the missile. So it's just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna go first person because it is the reliable way to target the target. It's just a shame of the Nikita being so like low to the ground that you get the angles, and also it's a fucking PS1 model. Who cares? But yeah, we're just going to blow the shit out of her calves. Bam! And yeah, that's pretty much the fight. Like, I mean, you could play as a sniper battle, though I don't really know any strategies for approaching it as a sniper battle. Like, I mean, like, it's like if you try to go into first person mode to see like her all the way off in the distance, it's a dark void, which that's a very nice atmosphere, but it doesn't really give you like, I don't know, strategy to approach her. I've seen people like approach this fight with a Stinger missile to figure out where she is, and that's very cool. Though I don't exactly know when it's safe to like, you know, head out and like lay down with a sniper rifle. I don't know when that's safe. And also, it's just like sometimes when you're positioning, like she'll be blocked by debris and all that, so it's just like, you know, it's just very complicated and all that, but I'm going to take the least complicated way of doing things. And also, I'm very surprised that, like, my missiles actually kill her. Like, I guess they just deal more damage than it looks. Because, I don't know, I mean, like, the final missile, I could have sworn she had way too much health to die from it, but I guess not. Oh, wait, actually, they deal quite a huge amount of damage. Never mind. But, yeah. There's not really much more to say about this fight. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it's a PS1 game. I guess it can't go too far with it. I mean, to be fair, saying it's a PS1 game could be a little bit derogatory when the PS1 can do a lot of great things. I mean, to be fair, I mean, the limitations of certain consoles can kind of bring about new innovations. Like Silent Hill, like the reason they have so much fog is because the draw distance on PS1 sucks, but that creates a new level of horror and like atmosphere and all that. So like that was just like a very great happy accident. And there I miss her, but then I go for a whole turnaround, boom, bam, and yeah, that's pretty much the fight. I don't really have any much more to say about that. I do want to know damage of Silent Hill games because I love the first 4 games, and I kind of want to, I don't know, sometimes I want to no damage games, even if like no damaging seems a little silly. Like no damaging a stealth game, like isn't that the point of a stealth game? But I love those games and I kind of want to, you know, give exposure to them in a way that fits with my content, and the no damage has pretty much been the way to do it. I mean, I started it off with Yakuza, but I'm not even sure if Yakuza is like my favorite games, though it is definitely one of my favorite franchises of all time, and I've definitely grown very fond of like all the games. Well, I mean, I have issues with some games, but I'm still fond of them. So, like, I mean, I kind of want to give back to the other games I would maybe even consider better than Yakuza in a way which I've been doing with Yakuza. So, yeah, here we are. Metal Gear Solid. Like, I mean, like, Metal Gear Solid, I've just replayed these games, like, so many times. Like, they're probably, like, the games I've replayed the most. So, I probably like put Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 over most Yakuza, so I gotta give back to them somehow. And also, I'll get to 3 later if I ever make a video on it. So anyways, here I'm just collecting items from all these warehouses, though sometimes these like little rooms have cameras which will like catch you off guard, or sometimes they'll have mines put in there. That's why I'm using the thermal goggles so much, because I don't know where the mines are, so I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to see, where are the mines? Where are the mines? That was a very rare case where I actually collected an item while in first person, while in other times the items don't get collected. I waste a lot of time here looking for items, and there's not much more to say. I'm just kind of looking for items. You can kind of, visually you can see like what I'm doing and like how to adapt it for your runs or strategies or whatever. So yeah, I don't really have anything more to say, so I guess I won't. This is the part where the mines are, the claymores. So yeah, so like, I mean, if you're just entering this room randomly, just trying to get some quick items, then like you're gonna get caught off guard by those claymores. So yeah, that's like, I mean, if you know where they're there, then you can just kind of collect them. But also, I will say I collected a couple more claymores than I needed to, because I thought I would use them in later encounters, but I really didn't. And I don't know, casually you can use them in pretty fun ways, but like for no damage, I did not find any good ways to kind of get around that. Anyways, here's a level 7 door. You do get a level 7 card later on, but backtracking all the way here, like you do enough backtracking in the next section of the game. Like, anyways, way too much backtracking, frankly. So I don't want no backtracking. I ain't gonna go all the way back here. And I'm sure the item isn't even that good. I've heard some people say that the item here kind of sucks. So I'm just like, don't need to. So I'm just not gonna bother with that. So anyways, here, boom, we got all our Nikita missiles. So yeah, that was very nice to kind of go through all these areas to collect items. 'Cause now we have all the Nikita missiles for the next section of the game, which I will need. And now here we're gonna enter the part where you have to insert this too. However, on PC, you don't need to do that. So that's one positive of PC. Well, I mean, PC has a lot of different positives. I mean, you know, like making the game look better. I mean, you can make it look all HD and stuff. That's very cool. Though, to be fair, making it look all HD does kind of have some visual glitches. Like the codec, like PC version in general, just has some visual glitches. So anyways, here I'm gonna do this, equip and unequip my weapon while running through there, so I can be silent. Because if I don't do that, the enemy will actually look over to me, and that'll be a whole big issue. So anyways, here we have this little puzzle where you have to stick to the wall, and then unlike Metal Gear Solid 2, you can't move while you're crouched on the wall. So you actually have to wait for this thing to pass over your head. So that's just like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 brought this back, except this time you just crouch while moving, move while crouched. But yeah, I was saying something. Never mind. Hold up. Oh yeah, visual glitches. So there's a few. So with the codec, I don't know if you like the codec frequency. Apparently, it's supposed to blink. Anyways, there probably was a better strategy to get past this stage, but I just knocked them down and walked into this area. But yeah, the codec thing was supposed to blink, but for some reason on PC it doesn't blink. So that's kind of a shame. Another thing is that I noticed this during Sniper Wolf's death. The shadows are kind of fugly, so like Snake will kind of be clipping in and out of his own model. That's a shame, though. To be fair, I mean, clipping issues existed on the original version of the game, but here it's kind of a little worse. Sometimes certain artifacts, like glitchy artifacts, will show up. So anyways, So yeah, I mean those are a few visual glitches. So yeah, first time playthrough, I wouldn't recommend that on PC, you know, for the original experience and all that, because it has a few issues which the original didn't have, yada 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 yada. But playing the PC version, you know, as a kind of somewhat veteran of like the OG game, though I'm no veteran, but I've played it quite a few times. It's nice to come back to this version with a couple. And oh yes, so. This section is fucking horrible. This is like probably the worst section of the game. I hate it so much. Like, okay, so strategy: grab this guy, hold him. He gets shot twice by those guys. Go, like a quick thing, and now you're running and shooting. Like pretty much quick reload, running and shooting. And now once you get to this section here, it should be a lot quicker. So like, this is the platform showdown, and it is the worst fucking section of the game. And just to add insult to injury, when I did this, OBS decided not to record any sounds. So it's just like, okay, so I just had to come up with something on my own. Got some music from Enna. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyways, that series has like some PS1 like vibes to it. So why not bring the music over? And also I can just edit it so that it just randomly cuts off once I like load my new segment. There it is, yeah. So yeah, that fight. Like, I mean, the strategies from the YouTubers just did not work. Like, Garland the Great, he had this, like, very weird strategy where he shot one guy and then he used stun grenades. But every time I tried to copy it, I got shot. And then, freaking, what was his name? Like, Stars Redfield, he had this speedrun strat where he would like use the SOCOM pistol to stun the enemy. Like, he would start the fight by throwing one of them off the platform. You can do that and like they'll instantly kill them, but like, every time I tried to do it, I got hit, and no matter how many times I tried to like cancel it with like my weapon, it just did not work. So I had to come up with my own strategy, which is hold up the guy on the right, and then once like both enemies get one shot, and it's a very quick thing, you have to switch to your like famcom, like FAMAS, and then start immediately shooting, run all the way up, and then to the left, and then like you have to shoot the guy on the left. If you don't shoot him, he's gonna shoot you, and then once you do that, you have to shoot the other guy. If you don't shoot him first, he's gonna shoot you. It's so tight. You have to do it with the D-pad, and the way like you grabbing and throwing in this game works is not suited to such a high action like octane sequence, because okay, in order to hold someone, you have to stand completely still and press square. To throw someone, you have to be moving and press square. However, you have to immediately move, stop all movement, press square, and then you have to move again so you can like rotate the enemy in such a way where you're actually like facing away from the enemy, not towards them, because if you're facing towards them, you get shot. That's what I'm saying. Like, this game is not suited to action, dude. Like this, like to be fair, I mean, I don't think the developers were considering no damage for a few of these encounters. I'm assuming they were considering you to use a couple rations or whatnot, but like, so annoying. I hate it so much. Anyways, here we're gonna have Raven, and I thought this fight would be harder. However, using Jaguar King's Guide, I pretty much use this speedrun strategy here where we just spam him with Nikita bullets, just like Sniper Wolf. I mean, you could fight him fairly and, you know, have a cool fight, but here I'm just gonna do this because I don't have my radar on me, and keeping track of this guy's movements for no damage, oh my goodness, it's gonna be. So yeah, Nikita missile, just run to this area and then just keep shooting them. He's just gonna keep shooting that, and we'll just go from there. Yeah. So yeah, that was like the best boss in the game, though I did play him very unfairly, and I didn't play to like the strengths of this great fight. And yeah, and now the game's gonna go pretty much all downhill from here. Though to be fair, it's kind of been doing a bit of a downhill spiral ever since like the communication tower. Cause like, I mean, before then you were kind of sneaking around areas. You were like, you know, just kind of the design of the levels were kind of cool, like exploring everything. But now, like, I mean, you could do a lot more things in like that fiery place. Like, I don't know, there's a couple more items to collect. And on my way backtracking there, I will collect a few more things. But that area isn't really all that engaging in terms of stealth either. And it's just kind of like, man. I will say visually, everything looks fantastic. I mean, it's a PS1 game, it's dated, but like, I mean, the visual style of everything, just like, it's so memorable. I mean, Shadow Moses is probably like the most like iconic area like in the entire series. Like the most like when it comes to like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is like an infiltration like stealth game, right? You're infiltrating buildings, and when it comes to infiltrating buildings, I mean, well, before they became more jungle and desert games, but I mean, before they got to that point, I mean, you know, when it comes to infiltrating buildings, Shadow Moses is the most interesting building we've had so far, though. I mean, the design of like future buildings might be more interesting. Like, I don't know, I mean, I find the diagonal or kind of like upper and lower like design of like the tanker and plant of Metal Gear Solid 2 to be more fun to go through. Like, they're not as interesting as Shadow Moses. Wow. Like, you just like, I don't know, I mean, to be fair, I think one reason why this area is so memorable is just because you have to backtrack. You have to backtrack through it so much, but still, it's just like, you know, like the snow field and like the tanker hangar, and then the part where you can't use weapons, and then like that one part with Psycho Mantis, and like the snow, the darkness, like the atmosphere in this game. Atmosphere is such a broad term. Like, I mean, if I actually wanted to like review this game, I would probably want to use other like words, and to be fair, there have been many videos on Metal Gear Solid 1, so like those videos have already been made, so it's not like I have to make a video on Metal Gear Solid 1 and why it's so good. Everyone knows it's good, though it is rather flawed. But like, yeah, so here I'm going to use a Stinger missile very poorly, but doesn't really matter because I don't take damage. So yeah, there I caused an explosion, and this guy's mad. Aww. But then I just shoot another one and it's over. So pretty much on this like section of the level, there's only really one enemy, and it's that guy. And you don't really have to kill him when like running through here, but I didn't know how his pattern worked yet, so I decided to kill him. You could actually just rush through this entire area. Well, to be fair, I think one reason I killed him is because I couldn't rush through the area just yet, because I was collecting a bunch of materials while getting to him. So yeah. But if you just rush through this area and get to this point, you don't have to kill him. However, running back through here, you will have to kill him. I mean, this part is an action set piece. As long as you have your FAMAS here, it shouldn't be too bad. Just kind of spray and pray. Spray and pray. And you know, once you reach a certain part, it'll all die down, and it'll be very cool. But, yeah. Like, I mean, pretty much like, okay, but normally when you're doing all this backtracking with the PAL cards, you will, I mean, you'll probably be better off killing him when you're running like back downstairs. But if you're running upstairs and like to the room to insert a card, then you don't really need to kill him. You just kind of, I mean, spam like your weapon equip and unequip thing to be silent, and then just kind of go from there. But yeah, like, man, like, I don't know, I mean, the beginning of the game was kind of engaging with like its very simple arcade type stuff, but now we've kind of taken downhill, and we're wasting a lot of time for like story events. And to be fair, the story is definitely picking up. I mean, some of these codec conversations get really interesting. And I mean, I did kind of talk smack on Meryl's name as a character, but Naomi's pretty great. Like, for me, for like a character who only appears in codec, she's really engaging and like, I don't know, interesting. So yeah, I like that. And also her performance is way better here than in the Twin Snakes. And it's not because she gets rid of the British accent. She sounds fine. She sounds really good in Metal Gear Solid 4, but in Twin Snakes, she's just bored. Like, she sounds bored. There's so many like emotional scenes which do not have the impact they have in this game because of her delivery in the Twin Snakes specifically. And it's kind of sad, like, talking like smack about the voice acting in Twin Snakes, because like, I don't know, David Hayter used like half his paycheck to bring back most of the original voices. So I mean, there's effort being put here, but like, man, something with the voice direction in that game specifically just does not compete with the original. It just doesn't. Even with the better sound quality, it's not there. It is just not there. I mean, I guess one change I do really appreciate is kind of removing Mei Ling's accent. I don't know, wasn't big on it in this game, and it's better off, you know, being better off. But yeah. I was gonna say something. Also, another thing which like the Twin Snakes kind of ruins is the codec conversations. I mean, you know, it's just like, oh, it's just you looking at a text box with voice acting, but there's so much more to it, like the sound design, the way the music swells up in certain sections. Then the Twin Snake kind of modifies it to be worse. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, one thing which the Twin Snakes is constantly doing is getting rid of, what was that song? The Best Is Yet to Come. Like, I mean, it's used so many times throughout Metal Gear Solid, like, 1 on PS1 in such, like, impactful, like, amazing ways, and then it's just absent in the Twin Snakes for some reason. And I forget if it's actually in the Twin Snakes at all. I have to replay the game to get, I don't know, info on that. But, like, yeah, just, like, the most important and, like, emotional scenes of the original game are just missing, like, that drive. And to be fair, it's not just the music, it's also the direction, like, I don't know, compositions, like, and all that. Like, you would think, like, oh, higher def models, I mean, it'll be better, right? But then there's just so many other choices which kind of ruin it. And man, Twin Snakes is complicated as, like, is complicated in being bad. I mean, it's better to get into it in a Twin Snakes video. So anyways, here the strategy is just wait where I was for a rat to come by, then blow up the rat, because the rat will have the card, and then the card will appear in the water. Then you can quickly go into the water and get the card, but you have to be very quick in the water, because if you spend too much time in the water, you'll take damage, but if you're very quick and just get it like that, then you won't take damage. And frankly, I don't know of any other way to do it. I mean, Garland the Great, thanks for the strategy, because I don't know how I would have done that any other way. I did not even know you could blow up the rat to get the card. That's insane. Now, yeah, here, we're just going to be going all the way back here. And yeah, I forget if I actually kill the card. Yeah, I'm going to kill the guard, I guess. Because, I don't mean I can. Yeah, I mean, it's wasting a lot of time. I don't really need to do it, but... Yeah, but one weird thing is I remember playing like the PS3 digital version, and I remember being able to snipe this guy, but for some reason I'm kind of failing to snipe him now, and I don't know why. I guess range does matter. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like, this area is cool in that you're like walking like right next to the Metal Gear Rex. Like, yo, I mean, it's very atmospheric, but man, there's nothing happening here, man. Like, come on. Oh yeah, but another fun thing is that like the area before this and the area like here are two different sections. So like if you get an alarm in the previous area and then climb up here, the alarm goes away. If you get an alarm here and go into the next area, the alarm goes away. I guess I actually believe that the Twin Snakes gets rid of this, which is a pretty cool advancement of technology. So yeah, so pretty much the reason I bring this up is because you can just kind of run out of the room without using a chafe grenade and just kind of go from there. And that was like pretty much kind of necessary for me to do because I'm very low on chafe grenades. I'm gonna get a couple more in my backtracking adventures, but like right now I barely have any chaff grenades. And well, to be fair, the reason I wanted more chaff grenades is for the next boss fight, though you don't need them at all. But casually, they could actually be very useful. And hell, even for no damage, they can still be very useful. But the thing is, if you're doing no damage, you're adopting a different strategy, and the different strategy makes chaff grenades kind of useless. Though maybe they could be used as a bit of a crutch, a bit of a helpful crutch. But though, to be fair, even though I do get more chaff grenades, I still don't have that many chaff grenades. And thankfully, when getting the chaff grenades, it doesn't waste too much time because I'm still like waiting for my card to turn. Anyways, here we're gonna go get the blue card, which means we need to backtrack all the way to the freezer area. Ugh. Oh, I mean that's nothing compared to backtracking all the way to the fireplace, like all the way to the beginning of this second disc. Are you kidding me though? Like, it's just so annoying. Like, this is like the slog of Metal Gear Solid 1. And well, to be fair, I mean, I kept saying that certain action set pieces are like the worst part, but like in terms of like design and all that, man, this is just like, man, this is really the only way they could have done this. Like, come on. Now here, I believe you don't need to use a chaff grenade. Oh, well, to be fair, I figured this out later, not now. I'm gonna use a chaff grenade right now. But there's a way you can like run through this room without getting shot by the cameras, which doesn't require a chaff grenade, which will be very useful when, you know, I'm running low on them and I'm gonna need them for like later on. Because I mean, if you don't have some chaff grenades in certain situations, you're gonna take damage. So anyways, here we're just gonna wait in this area. Now, the first time you enter this ice freezer, there shouldn't be any enemies. I mean, to be fair, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I thought there were enemies, but I don't see any enemies. So yeah, here all we're gonna do is pretty much wait for the card to turn blue. And frankly, I don't know of any way to make the card turn blue faster. I don't know how the timer works, so I'm just kind of periodically checking if it turns blue or not. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I didn't see how other people did it because I'm just kind of like, I know these areas. I can kind of run through these areas without a guide, and like the power card, you just kind of stay in one place and just kind of wait for things to happen, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, still yellow. Though it is kind of cool how we're returning to this area, and like, you know, it's like this big action set piece, but now like, you know, Vulcan Raven's dead. His minigun is like bloodied up and all that. Like, it's very cool. And just like the music's a little more like atmospheric now, like just very nice, very cool. However, running through here, I don't know of any way to do it without the chaff grenade. So if you're going forward here, then you probably will have to use the chaff grenade. But going backwards, there's a way to not use the chaff grenade. So yeah, now here we have to run all the way up to like that one room with the cards again. And also, you're gonna have to do it quickly because I'm pretty sure if you linger too much in an area which isn't cold, the card will turn back to normal. So it's just like, you gotta run. So I mean, yeah, the card taking a long time to transform is annoying when you're trying to transform it, but it is somewhat of a blessing when you're trying to run to the place to like insert it in, because if you don't insert it in at that moment, then boom. And also, oh my goodness, I'm very sorry for whoever like spent too much time in one area and the card changed against their will, because then they'd have to do all that backtracking all over again. Like, oh no, I feel very sorry for those people. And to be fair, I'm very unsure if I was one of those people. I actually forget if I ran into that issue or not. I mean, I'm remembering it so hard that I'm pretty sure I probably went through that moment. So yeah, you don't really need to kill that guy when you're going through like that path. You can kind of just run forward and, well, run forward and like equip and unequip your weapon so you can be silent. So yeah, here, throw a chaff grenade, because I mean, entering this area is important to put a chaff grenade, but exiting this area is not important, because, you know, once you exit this area, the door will close and nothing will happen. However, if you enter the area and the camera catches you, then the door will close, gas will come in, and I don't think the door can open. Maybe you can call Otacon and it'll open. And to be fair, I mean, I don't know, but like I feel like Otacon will only open the door if Otacon will only open the door if, okay, I'm trying to think here, if it's like the finale of the game, but I don't know. I haven't tested it, and I don't want to test it. I want to, you know, do this swaggy way, swag. And also, I'm assuming those alarms also contribute to your alarm counter. If you're trying to do a big boss run, then you don't want that. So, I mean, I'm kind of cheating, but if you're doing a big boss run, then you probably can't. You probably have to use chaff grenades a lot more than I am. So yeah, shame. So another advantage of, I don't know, this game on PC is that, well, load times are a lot faster, so you'll be entering like an area and then boom, it loads a lot faster than I would on PS1 or PS3. And also, codec conversations. You can actually skip them entirely on PC, while on PS1 and PS3, I don't believe you can. You have to instead skip each dialogue box individually. So like that will kind of make, I don't know, certain sections a lot more tedious, especially this one, which has so many codec conversations, so you have to skip through all that like manually. So yeah, here's how I do it. So kind of stick to the right, and you know, maybe some of the turrets will see you, but you know, it won't hit you. Though to be fair, I've actually been hit a few times while running through there, but I think if you go all the way to the right, you should be fine. So anyways, here, run all the way here, and you just kind of knock that guy over, and that should pretty much be it for kind of dealing with the enemies in this area. And on the way back, it's kind of the same. And yeah, now here, all I gotta say is watch out for the cameras on these platforms. Like, I mean, the platforms are like just kind of really spooky. They can kind of pull things which can like be really unexpected, and you just won't know what to do, because it's like, whoa, what am I doing here? What am I doing there? I mean, claymores will show up, and also the camera, and also if you're running out of chaff grenades, and that can be very deadly. And now here I'm gonna go into first person mode. Oh yeah, I did this like the previous time I was here with the crows and all that. I was punching them. Like, I don't know, they would like kind of sit on the, they would just kind of sit on the railings there, and I just keep punching them, kind of killing them, just slaughtering these animals here. So there's this green light next to the control panel, and I really like how it illuminates on Snake in third person, though since the camera is so pulled back, you can't get a good look at it, but I like how it looks. Though to be fair, given how low poly the models are, it's probably a good thing that you can't get that good look of it. You can't get that good of a look at it, so there's that. And I was kind of thinking about this, like, concept, though to be fair, to fully like engage with this concept I would have to play the Twin Snakes again. But it's kind of like, okay, so Metal Gear Solid 1 is probably one of the best looking PS1 games, right? But the Twin Snakes is probably one of the more mid looking like GameCube games, right? So like, I mean, even if with the higher definition models, it's not exactly on the quality of Metal Gear Solid 1. To be fair, that is very kind of bland way to kind of go about it, because there's multiple reasons why like the visual style of Metal Gear Solid 1 is superior over the Twin Snakes. And also I'm not even sure if I'm like gonna agree with that statement I just made if I replay the Twin Snakes. Like I really do gotta go replay the Twin Snakes. So maybe next video will either be maybe Snake Eater or the Twin Snakes, though I am much more interested in doing Snake Eater. Or am I? Well, at the very least Snake Eater I can record it at 720 like P60 FPS, while with the Twin Snakes I have emulation, which has been kind of shoddy for me and kind of choppy, or I have GameCube, which I'm not even sure if I can record that smoothly, because I tried to record like PS2 gameplay from an actual PS2 with like the wires the Elgato came with, and all I got was kind of just visually kind of glitchy footage with very, very soft sound, like very low sound, and it was just like, that was just not good. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be good for like an entire video, so that's just kind of sad. And also just 480p in like what year we in, 2021? Like, oh my goodness, like I'd probably be better off figuring out how to correctly emulate it. But also I do kind of want to play it on its original hardware, because I did spend money on that game. So yeah, like I believe I actually bought the Twin Snakes first, though I'm pretty sure I didn't play it first. I may have actually played the Twin Snakes and Metal Gear Solid 1 simultaneously the first time. So anyways, here we're gonna enter this part with a bunch of smoke, and smoke's kind of difficult to deal with. So you can pick up body armor here, so if you're playing this game casually you can kind of take more hits, but I'm doing no damage, so the body armor is practically pointless. Though actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the final section of the game would, oh wait, but in the final section of the game all your items are taken away from you, so that doesn't even matter. So yeah, nah, the body armor is pretty much useless for a no damage run. So yeah, but it's here, so you just kind of have to navigate all these weird like smokes and all that. And throughout all that time my PAL card has not changed to red yet, so we're just gonna chill here until it does. And also, yeah, if you notice my path there, I avoid the smoke and then I go under like on the left side to kind of get to the next part. And also I use the chaff grenade because there are cameras there, so like I mean if I didn't use a chaff grenade, then like they would have caught me when I was trying to get the body armor and like the extra items. So now the card is finally red, which means we're going to do our last like backtracking event here, and we have to get on the platforms again. It's just and also, okay, so the camera on like the second platform, like you'll probably have to use a chaff grenade if you're trying to get on the platform, but if you're trying to get off the platform, I don't think you need to use a chaff grenade. I didn't, though sometimes if you mess it up you might get shot, but I did not get shot. But to be fair, that's kind of the point of this video. I'm trying not to take damage. Yeah, I mean, what is there even to talk about anymore? But yeah, if you're going through here, it's best to use a chaff grenade, because I think you'll mostly get shot if you try to get onto the platform here. And also, watch out, the claymores. Yeah, like that there. So yeah, just watch out for that. And we're just gonna go back down for another long platform ride. Like, all right, it's got a nice atmosphere to it, but also, man, but these long platform rides is kind of the way the game kind of delivers more codec conversations, and it's just kind of, it gets a little boring, but there is kind of a nice atmosphere to it. And like I said, I like the way the green light reflects on Snake, but dang. You know, the way I keep talking about Metal Gear Solid 1's visual style and the Twin Snakes visual style, I think it's kind of similar to the way some people talk about like Pokemon. Like, I don't know, some people are kind of dissatisfied with the way they're remaking Diamond and Pearl. I played Platinum and I thought it was pretty sick, though like I can kind of understand why, because like, I don't know, something like, to be fair, I mean, I'm not sure if I'd go as far to say that the pixel art and something like Diamond and Pearl is like some of the greatest ever because black and white exists, but no, I'm being unfair. Like, black and white has some of like the best pixel art like ever, but still the Diamond and Pearl still look really good. But it's just kind of like that. I mean, it's like those games have really impressive pixel art, so for them to be remade with, you know, 3D graphics, which may be more with 3D graphics which aren't really like anywhere near the pinnacle of like its console, it's a little weird. It's a little weird is all, though, to be fair. I mean, if you want to stay true to the top-down perspective of those games in a new like format like 3D, it's just like, well, what are you gonna do about it? I guess they kind of wanted more human models or something. I don't know. it's complicated, and also I don't really care because I'm not gonna play it. I have no stake in that conversation because I'm gonna be playing other games. I'm gonna be playing No More Heroes. I'm gonna be playing the new Yakuza. I mean, like, I'll be replaying old games, and I'll be replaying games I've already played for no damage. So I have no stake in this Pokemon debate, and I'm not that interested in getting into it. I played Black and White. That was my first one, swag, and then I beat Platinum, and then I own X, and I never beat it, and that's pretty much my experience with Pokemon. Though I did play this one WiiWare game. It was like Pokemon Rumble, and it was really fun. And I'm kind of sad that the Wii Shop is now dead because I don't know if you can get that game again. I mean, I don't know. Is it the thing with like the Wii Shop shutting down and so many like WiiWare games like going off to like the shed? So like some people must have been really sad about that. So some people must have like preserved them, right? Hopefully they did, because like, I mean, I really do want some WiiWare games. There was like this one first-person shooter game I played online on the fucking Wii. It was like a game which you had like you just shot water, so it was kind of like a safe first-person shooter, and I just played that online. Like, man, that's crazy with the Wiimote. Like, damn. Yeah, I guess I'm just feeling nostalgic for the Wii, because that was probably like the first console that was ever like mine. Like I've played GameCube before, but like I never owned a GameCube. So the very first console I ever owned was like the Wii, and it was funny because I was like opening it with my uncle, and like my uncle saw Twilight Princess and he just threw it away because it was teen rated, and I was like, what, like 6? So he was like, no, you can't play that. And like I had zero idea what a Twilight Princess was, so I didn't care. I was happy with Wii Sports. But now, like in retrospect, damn, that sucks. I would like to play that game now. And I mean, I still could. I could always just emulate the Wii version. I mean, I used to own a Wii U, but I sold it, so now I can't play Wii games naturally. But I could easily emulate it. Easily may be a bit of a overstatement, and I could maybe get the HD collection as well, though that costs money. And oh my god, Nintendo games never go down in price. It's so infuriating. Like, I swear, I mean, I'm gonna bet on this. Like, Mario Odyssey is probably what, like $50, still 60. Like, and Breath of the Wild 2, like, oh my god, so infuriating. It's been like what, 7, 6, 8 years? Like, bro, like, lower the price of your games after like 1 or 2 years. Don't like keep selling them at 60. I hate you for that. So yeah, here we're gonna insert the PAL card right here, and we're going to pretty much move on with the Metal Gear Rex boss fight. Let's go. Oh, but before we do that, this room's gonna fill with gas, but Otacon's gonna let us out in a bit. And I don't know if Otacon will naturally let you out or if you have to call him first, but I decided to call him because, you know, just call up the homie and all that. And yeah, from there on, we're just gonna wait it out, and with the gas mask, we can wait it out even longer. Alright, so for the Metal Gear Rex fight, you can use chaff grenades in order to make the missiles not target you, but you can get the same effect by just staying close to Metal Gear Rex and running towards it instead of away from it when it shoots the missiles, because if you run towards it, then the aiming gets messed up. So anyways, here, point the stinger right here and shoot 2 missiles, and then run away, because, like, you know, it's going to shoot machine gun fire, and pretty much the way you handle this fight is, if you have the missile phase, kind of, you know, run towards the Rex so that the missiles don't hit you, and then wait for the Rex to do an attack like that, and then shoot it. I mean, you really don't want that laser, so you kind of do want to keep some distance, but you also have to run towards Rex, so it's a very tricky matter. You always want the machine gun fire, because you can always just kind of, with the machine gun fire, you can just run to the right, and then just, you know, equip your stinger, go up, shoot the big thing right there, and then, you know, it'll kind of prep itself for missiles, ideally, because you ran away for quite a bit. And then you just kind of go from that. And also, another thing you want to do is you want to keep Rex focused, like, in the center that you run towards. You don't want Rex, like, facing to the right, because then you have to run to the left to avoid the missiles. And what that happens is when you go to first-person mode, if you're running towards it, you'll, like, automatically aim upwards. And you do want to aim upwards. However, if you're running at Rex from, like, the right to the left, like, you'll go into first-person mode, and, like, the first thing you'll do if you're, like, running towards it is you'll aim your stinger to the left, and you don't want to do that. So, ideally, the best way to approach this is to have Rex, like, facing in front of you for, like, you know, the smoothest experience, because, like, with the other ways, like, you'll have to, like, kind of mitigate it. You have to, like, kind of get a little fancy with the way you aim it, and, like, it could screw up your no damage pretty easily. And in fact, even having Rex be a little diagonal here is screwing up my aim. And also just Rex that kind of adopting some very unfair patterns where like it'll shoot the laser and then it'll just like immediately shift into missile mode, which like kind of changes position and like the way the little radome is. And now here's a cinematic moment where you can't skip. I mean, it's a pretty cool cinematic moment, though it doesn't go that far, but I mean it's an impactful moment, kind of a big catharsis. So yeah.
But soon it will finally end.
So pretty much, so yeah, here Rex has more health, but it's pretty much the same fight, except now, yeah, it's pretty much the same fight, except now Rex is facing in a really weird pattern, and frankly, I think the first thing you should do is reposition Rex to be facing towards you, like, I mean, pretty much in front of you, instead of, like, to this weird diagonal side, because this weird diagonal thing is kind of messing up my aiming. So, like, yeah, look at that. I mean, I shot it all the way to the left, like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, I do end up fixing, like, course fixing Rex at some point, but I don't do it at the beginning of this fight, which is kind of screwing me over. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, so this fight, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not as cool as the one in Metal Gear Solid 2, but to be fair, the one in Metal Gear Solid 2 can kind of be considered overkill. But like, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's a pretty cool fight. I mean, it's got a bit going on. It's fast paced. Like, let's go, yeah. And also, it's got a lot of little neat tricks. So yeah, I mean, just run towards him, and like the missiles shouldn't hit you. If you like run to the left or run away from him, the missiles will target you. And also, you know, just be on the lookout, because if you're not quick enough, then yeah, the missiles will probably hit you. But if you use chaff grenades, then the missiles will always miss you, even when you're just kind of moving around very slowly. So that's like one reason you would use the chaff grenades. But since I'm already doing something which makes me avoid the missiles, then like there's no real point. And what I'm doing is very useful, so like there's no real point to like abandon what I'm doing. So yeah. And I don't know, is there anything more to say about this fight? I mean, it's awesome. It's got a big robot. Like, let's go. Though that laser attack is very unfortunate, because like when he does the machine gun attack, like there's a lot of like delay in like in the time he's gonna do his next attack. Well, not a lot of delay. It's still a very brief moment, but with the laser attack, he reacts quicker. Like sometimes you'll do a laser attack and then do the machine gun fire, and that can be very tricky to avoid. Though if you get so close to Metal Gear Rex, then yeah, he's gonna do the laser attack. Like, no, duh. But yeah, just kind of annoying little thing. So here is Liquid Snake's dynamic intro, I guess.
Still be able to save her. You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end. If you cross this line, you'll fall. At this height, it will kill even you. Have at you, Snake!
Man, this fight was insanely challenging. I mean, it's like, I mean, oh my god, like, this is just something you have to be good at, though. There are some strategies you can follow. Like, okay, so pretty much in his first phase, it's kind of like there's a rule of threes of sorts. Like the first time, like Liquid Snake is positioned, you can hit him, but then on the third time, he'll kind of go into this defensive mode where he'll like he'll dodge your attacks and then he'll like kick you. However, one way to kind of like draw out that kick is just punch him once and then he'll dodge that and then go for the kick. Because if you stay away from him for too long, he won't do anything. And then once he says nice shot, he enters his second phase, and in his second phase, he will punch you twice after you hit him. However, one thing I'm doing here is I'm opening like the menu there, which because I think if you open the menu like while you're in the middle of an attack, it may actually cancel the animation faster than just walking away normally. So, I mean, to be fair, like from the footage, it doesn't look like I'm doing it all the time, but sometimes it works, and also it like, I mean, I haven't taken any damage from this, so yeah, I mean, the second phase can be really difficult if you're not prepared for it, and that's just my way of dealing with it. Then once he enters his third phase, he stops counterattacking. However, he gets a little bit weird. He starts running towards you for the kick, and I mean, to be fair, like that, he starts doing that, but one way to avoid it is just kind of run past him, and he should do that kick. But, you know, run past him, but don't fall off, because one difference on Extreme when compared to normal is that, I don't know, every time I play this fight on normal, like every time I fell off, I would hang on to the edge, but for some reason, every time I fall off in Extreme, I just fall off and die. So you don't have that safety anymore. Like, you fall off, you die. So yeah, just do not let that happen. And also, he'll start doing these bull charging maneuvers, so, you know, watch out for that. Now, I mean, since this was super hard to do, however, since it was so hard to do, I tried to look for different ways to do it. Like, I mean, Jaguar King did like the speedrun way, where he like infinited Liquid. And I was like, how do you do that? And then I started looking on like speedrun sites to figure out like maybe is there like a strategy? I mean, how exactly do you loop the person? And I actually did find someone's video on how to loop him. Plywood Gaming has this video where he does like a one-punch infinite combo, and like it was like pretty informative, but I could not copy him. It was so hard. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I don't know how you're supposed to press the button. Like, every time I tried to do it, I was either pressing it too slow, or sometimes he would stop after the third hit. Like, oh my goodness. So yeah. Anyways, here we're gonna enter the part where I take damage. So here, I'm just gonna hold this guy. I'm gonna choke him a few times so that he doesn't like exit my like grasp. And yeah, just kind of hold him here. So to be fair, I think like the main objective right now is just stay alive, and I don't do the best job of that. I take like an obscene amount of damage without this whole thing. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that this beginning room, it's very important that you don't take damage in this room, and it's very important that I didn't do it. I took damage in that room. Like, the reason you don't want to take damage in that room is because those enemies' bullets hurt you a lot more than the bullets that are going to come up from the enemies in this area. Like, the enemies in this area actually have reduced damage, but the enemies in that area actually deal a fuck ton of damage to your health bar. So it's better if you don't take any damage from them in that previous area, but I did, which is kind of my downfall, but at the very least, I survived this. So that's kind of the main thing. You have to survive. Like, damage, like, you're going to take damage. I mean, there's like certain sections that you can no damage, and I'm not going to attempt it, though I'm pretty sure some sections you can no damage with this. Pretty sure this is impossible to no damage, because I mean, everyone who's tried it hasn't done it, and I have not heard of anyone who has no damage. So this is probably just impossible. But yeah, this is pretty much the ending of the game. It's kind of the big climactic part, and I mean, the climax of Metal Gear Solid is like a little weak. I mean, to be fair, story-wise, it's really picking up and really doing a lot of cool stuff, and these action set pieces are pretty cool. Like Metal Gear Rex is pretty legendary. I mean, Liquid Snake, like, let's go. And, you know, just ended off with this little rail shooter section. You know, why not? Yo, it's not over yet, let's go. Like, cinematic-wise, it's pretty cool, though. Like, stealth-wise, it's kind of like, it kind of dies on a wet fart. Like, oh yeah, just backtrack through the whole area and ride the platforms again. And then, here's 2 boss fights in a rail shooter section. Like, okay, alright. I mean, I don't know, I guess, like, the reason I'm being so down on it is I'm comparing it to the climax of, like, the other games. Like, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 2 has an insane climax. I mean, just everything breaks apart. You're, like, understanding reality is, like, coming apart. Like, oh my goodness, so many revelations, reveals. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of cool reveals and revelations in this part, but I guess the gameplay is kind of not picking up the slack from me. Well, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 also kind of suffers from the same issue Metal Gear Solid 1 has, where, like, the second half suffers from a lot of really weak sections, but, oh my goodness. So, yeah, what you want to do with Liquid here, I mean, to be fair, is just kind of shoot him before he shoots you. It could be kind of hard, but just kind of keep doing that, because if he keeps shooting you, you will die. Like, you will die. So you gotta keep stunning him, though I don't know how to always stun him. Sometimes he gets me, and I get him, and it's weird. But yeah, whatever. Also, oh wait, I forgot. Okay, the most important part about this section, though, is that going into first-person mode is such a pain in the ass. You have to hold down the triangle button, and then you press the square button to shoot. However, you can't just toggle on first-person mode. You have to hold the triangle button the entire time. Like, I don't know how your fingers work, but like, that's gonna hurt, man. And to be fair, since I'm playing the PC version, I guess I'm being a little dumb here, because I could have just reconfigured like my controls to something more natural instead of dealing with this game's like archaic, like weird ass fucking setup for first-person aiming here. But you know, whatever. Because the first-person aiming just lets you know if you're shooting this guy better than like a third-person view. Because the third-person view is a little vague on how to do it. So yeah, just kind of keep your aim on this guy, because you do not want to shoot him at all. I have a very short life bar. Like, and now we're close together, and it's gonna be weird. It's gonna get me out. But yeah, we're pretty much at the end of the game. Like, there's not much more to say, though. I will say. Oh yeah, another issue on the PC version is if you're playing on a really large monitor, like the pre-rendered sequences, like some of the pre-rendered videos will be extremely tiny on your big screen. Like, especially, like, I mean, the one, like, end credit scene where, like, Ocelot's talking to the president, where, like, the title of the game is on screen, that it is so tiny on my screen. Look at that! Look at that! So yeah, that's another reason why you should play, like, I guess the PS3 or PS1 versions. It's just kind of for that. Because, man, that is ridiculous. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time when I make a new video. Look how tiny that is. Yeah, I'm probably either going to do the Twin Snakes or Snake Eater. Both games have Snake in the title. Very smart, very smart. So yeah, I'll see you then.